again for tuning into the program. This is your favorite dial and the current affairs program reaching you from our studios. All right, so we said we're crossing over this morning to the Keta municipality and speaking with the municipal chief executive on a development happening there. And there's a release from his office concerning the official residence of the MC being abandoned and empty despite repeated budget allocations for renovation purposes, for also making sure that they buy the necessary equipment, items, gadgets, and all the other home appliances that will make the MC residence a comfortable place for him to reside. If you remember, similar thing was the case when the regional minister, took over and visiting the residency. He also made mention of the deplorable state of the residency. So, ni yele GM le keta no to me penya selao ekude nto mejikpola alomo mefia na keta municipality bubuto wisdom sia de pe office he no chocho ade de go eyike ekude pen no pe yike wotu dari be ne MC he eho ezie akudu no to meji wa anno ike mi komi apa joga kotu be ne wa no ne pe esusu me ne jakwan to me ne fa na wa wodona no to metowa yeah, no chocho vabe. Okay, so let me do the English part. Then me ako pegbeto ako afu eta. So in a scene that left many in disbelief, the newly appointed municipal chief executive, MC Honorable Wisdom Siad of Keta, was met with a startling reality. An official residence stripped of all essentials, the bedrooms, kitchen, and bathroom, sitting room, and guest room stood eerily empty, devoid of even the most basic furnishings, despite multiple budget allocations for the past 3 years for renovation and furnishing. It was a moment of deep disappointment as the new MCE stand at the state of abandonment. The assembly, under the leadership of the seventh and eighth session of the previous MCEs, Honorable Godwin Eduji Efa and Honorable Emmanuel Gemega, had approved substantial budgets, not once, but twice, for the renovation and equipping of the residents. Shockingly, despite these funds being allocated as supposedly spent, the reality on the ground tells a different story. It raises serious concerns about the transparency and accountability of the previous administrations. The failure to deliver on these projects points to possible financial mismanagement, if not outright corruption. Many residents and assembly members of Keta are now questioning how such a blatant disregard for public trust could occur unchecked. There is a growing there is a growing anger and dismay that previous years money was allocated to restore the MCE residence and yet nothing was done. This has become a symbol of a broader decline many attribute to the new patriotic party, that's NPP leadership, aided by certain technocrats within the assembly. In light of this disturbing revelation, there is a passionate call for the current MCE to initiate a private investigation into the funds allocated for the renovations and the role of party leadership. Additionally, there is a strong appeal for the new MC to remain vigilant and courteous of some technocrats whose previous actions raised red flags regarding their loyalty and intention. The people of Keta deserves answers and, more importantly, justice. The time for accountability is now. And that's from the aid. Wanda Sechuafia denu. So me penya sala kwede kwa MC into eleka jina me ike mi ahog belenu matrogbova agbagaba fo kata no funa bale ike meje gomene akude mom fia pe no fe yo na be residence MC residence fi ko wano emi plena nuzio nuza zen de mena oga keketa tonya bugu dele dodomda mijibe mi asecho MC anto ike letefia zange hedi chai de tefe ike wole bene wano ako awo dole jidedi mea wanami anyale ike tututu nuo kole afo iwo wade ble nui epenu tometo gana to pete mudgan tometo ano mokpokpo mena honorable wisdom siade medondi now voice of our global FM fe apology
ndị na-emesi ahụ onye
me de kumi fonwe o ha fonwe akpe yo mi da pe be mi yike mi yo elombe ya ade nu me na du koku de nu ike nevai edejesi inye wo nu popo le wo fe residency ke mi edenya gedo de go honorable na mi asego me chogbo ale ike tututu enu jojo a o kole lo fe eno fe ike wo le be na no abe mo mafia awodo na keta nu tometo.
My brother, he told me a special meeting for assembly members. So, issue come up in residence never visiting. In me, they were done a clip of a car cover the farmer, Rodoma, whatever, not ever known. Ngogba lati kanu bla te faha basa ita fifi amal apoma achona apoma every day in adom nyapa susenye pa o estimate like apota fagba no yeba estimate va ye oyika agarama ba mi akopwe ni mi jagba akpeko aka nyaje tafaru pro supermarket no fuma anu domain ka ndi aha ikemi ni yoma regional minister bona ndi ara doro ta dokoyama awon kawakawama akuwo about 1 hour ni I have to regional minister afuma.
Okay. All right. Na mi ese gombe tefia mele dodo nu ovoa menya be wo hanye assembly memano assembly amekpon hafi asidadare guy okata Jehovah le the 7th and the 8th session le abubuto hoho Godwin edu GFA paple Emmanuel Gemega fe popolo tebene wa ajra ofe nofe ke honorable ameyo yo no alo zante fia pa lo nye mo mefia pone de o me zante fia o me no fima hafi na de dome wa tepe bubu yo no
ani pomeme pale nyaba na pota fa hola ma iko paint maybe bla gas room ya kala amchia ta loko wana maba onto ma zeta fa ala vale kata fa ogba yemanya oba foto e kama kodaria nyonya ma amyo yipimia mara ko foto kodari ita amyo kama daria mami po ya kwa ko to fakata malare kamu oba o ma zeta fo ado gayu ka o ma te cho do iko lava gana wo those times so mai jemi pa abanya hanye to no assembly afi okaga okan kodretafa obodretafaru ko oshango nan kwama preto da mashama klebu baka japala ba mate bona igara MC baba ya gara ifo jodofi ifo hogama to wa
okay
gaka na mikatami ya hola no na janyi mami no na ko awona ni kemiwa okojo gaka imi va gara ho ma fias mi pe wo tro kata plato mo kata kitchena mo kata ogbanya ma so ninyala kojo
okay ta le fifia me ike enu ole mi buibe assembly ndega wale be no na no tepe ne amere jo na mere va wa ayi doji azan tepe a enu o mele tepe sigbo le fifi amenu ka tututu ya mia wo ameyo no tepe a de ale ike mia to mia nuka we mia waji akọ aji akonta chogbo be no wa va afonu ale tututu ko ezanga le mia wa pe ega ike gu na assembly a mia kpo ga akọ jira tepe do he na o pesesa
ya agbo ya ka joni cho o nkuna magare ka ham garawe ita numaka asem betola ma o glunyara ba ajaba works committee olive wala da so cho na do
okay
aba ajaba engineer kla committee makola o yana ba works committee a oba o hon to bro e mo na na yo approve renovation for Gaia wa doko yo blenera engineer o pashima ba o do popo gaba tonawo lo gaba as member on to your follow up I insist ba kala budget tamo of yo you don't have your back home kwe
okay
ya kan yo assume ba engineer ikenya consultant na assembly a bodo bana wo na engineer kla maga pe o da o ma o do ko ka fia ba la ka kunongola ka ni choma duya shoka magareta o breba to fifi agira na onya bo ka o do la mama ajaba committee na supervisor do the assemblyman no ha yo no ma I make sure but the right things are done
okay
going forward anya ba mia boba mia jira sefaro ba matema no awo dona duko
okay
kaka ajaba anuma toto tohe ya to choma ba oko budget hoko ya okobe I lift them no item by item but me obo yo wogere owe ni obo yo wogere owe equal suba no ba konta wonyare anonyi obia amayo kadongo odoma o abio tama gbo pe ko ba na ni wo susole
all right okay ta fifi egbo le o papa mele tepe I feel a domi in the interim measure
nya pamala abogoji ta jeba na kuhu ayi kata every day
wow
afi awoni yaro yo machia amaro gbora kata got already in the kanyamu lo mawo just to save time and komiela ji ado bi vata ma gbaje ganu wongbo afimia no to paja jaro fa ni agbon
okay
kakaro komia a sho ma shama ba net pa gopoga onyo na hia bo prosecutor for ni ko vai ha mi akwere abala kono ga ka fi te fa gopopo e kamano enye mi afotaro dinu ba fi awu
dakpe honorable akpe be no hefo no na mi he denya me na mi ikele jajira do be atu regional minister kwa ke mi ada sele no be ne na ayi de edoji nke ne jejina le ike no nya le kwa mi no kachachi ame
yo akpe kaka
okay akpe melo okay yenye amom mefia to ahento ape gbenye mi se bubuto wisdom sia de america ji assembly adasido 100% be yolon any assembly member have your tatia vava assembly tobe yolon be ne gbogbo governor yo nu fa na wa wodo na yo abe yo fe emo mafia ene kele tepe yike wa ano awodo inye jidudu fe ho iwo tu ozadu come view fe ga heko tu mo mafia wozana wapla baodeme wapla no de home ple susu be nenya vakwa awo ko ple bag ko akove ababobwe sudi bobwe zipi bobwe kitchen kupupu inu za zen yo kata ko de sian de dare tepe na beneva nenya fondi kwa na kpodo ki ogbo le jodofi na ide chile kpo me gake nu chocho ike domi agbo enye bele keta nu to pakpaji nu chocho ike domi agbo meva le sigbo voa le pokpolo alo assembly adrele akple nyili ape assembly yime le ameve yo penko mi ehede ego dongoa boboto Godwin Eduji Efa pele boboto Emmanuel Gemega le yo kata pe kpokolo te ba je ba be nenem jedodo yi ke kude residency e pe asitotro le un bene waga dengo aga nyowu la bendo me le tepo kwa assembly no josigbe asumo parliament onye ojo ye ohie nya video kwa ova jebe o dasire gaji ga home ike jo dasire o me konu le jina mi hadel bene wa azan de tefia wunti ike kwe wa be america vava fifia e magava adogo nu ike ova dogo hafio kakele nya onu abale ke mo me fianto hede gwenia enya evanye nya bubu ke ova hia be wano chochola peme ike nye abo ano keta vam besia gbegbalo gade o mea wachia mea do gwala bele beno wa wododo le ndi kanya pe akpaji mi pe nya selao anyi chokwe nye kple amegre ka vero mi no jedodo me kude le ike bangalo na mi ojo ina le koko check na we procurement to me no jedon klo na menya benu ike jona ne nye ba mi obe yo jua yo na o ekpona agbanle menu yo fle dadai a cross check ple auditors ewe wa cross check be no hemi flede eletefe a de wadu nge a wa fo nge a ebua alo de droedre a wa to a konta mo me pete kple o hafi adogo kele keta to pe procurement pa kple auditors o pa pajide doka tutu wo de ko da silenu ameyo pack out ko evoa I'm sure benero je gomecho fimi sigbela doa ele ike nyava le fifi ade o mahi ma va do sigbe hafio aka pa veli anya be ale ike ko mi acho belele ananu ike menye mi anto mi afenu nu ike mi anto mi mecho mi afe ga okofle be male na nenem nu mawa wo le fie vodom le mi aduko me vio me ale gbegbe nenu anya toji dudu fe nko ya kola minami zen yakachwen minami zen le ike ejromi ejemi waga fle bubu de tepere waga gaya le waza no me kpo che wa va diado tawa yi tepe wa va do nu eye wa ko ega ko dare gaji ne be gama va no assembly wa dagare gaji na fun wa va he agbadu do assembly o mi le lo alo vide profit na assembly o mi le ale ike ko du me vinyenye fe gbogbo ano du ko me viwo me de jidudu fe nunu amesi wo nti do wo fe nuwo azen anya be menye yire fi mi no gbeda si o amere ha ava vade yi fe yo me kenenye ba me ma heva vade yo wo me de leke wanone mi ape nyasela aleke mi ape du do walao dungono lao bubu mewo wazan no fe ike nenye be wojo ma ja chon amra agbugbo azan pele jijo akpokwa de jidi pochochwere ke manome ko azan residency to he regional minister va ya chenye nyami gbolo le fi ya mi bibu na bo mi o ya kwenye mamleto ke watu ho fine afle nuzi o deme kwa mi enu ale jembe o ho gala assembly si ga ke gai o ho garo ko vaja be po fulu fe nu wona ene le akonta nana le mianto mi afe do wo nti abe bubu meto ene de leke mieko ele nenem akonta mao na me ne jole do ofie wo megbe nyawo de yo wenye siao wo megbe nyawo le office zikpi ijine no evu yo ko na be naza eke yakwa jodo fe no cho le me yike me damage mi ape nyasala le wanye be ale itututu mieko le mi ape jidudu fe nu wo me a mi ma yire ngo me kwa se mi obete mi dasireji be mimia ayide ngogbo nenyebe we continue behaving in such a manner. We don't care about things that belongs to the country, the state, the government, things that we do not own as our own properties. Ele ike mianto miane woto ekpefu he wo kuku 3 afifia he ko wa wo doko tuwo ko fle wo vu pale ke ne kuneda ga ke no ko do fe to dasio pale ike ne zaneda yenye keta pe nu jojo ike edomia gbo ale tututu mia no mia pe bubu me ya olem benewa a make sure be yo da asi khokho de gayi alo jije me yi ke mi nana lo fe do fe be no jo amelecha ga ba kpo jije me ma le do fe yi ke wojo le Honorable Stephen Adome Hode, Honorable Divine Tefe. No one ever assembly ye ya otu. The flight Honorable Divine no MC Bangalo there to wafe Ovajo. That you can fear be and you no sogbea. The new MC would have to occupy that bungalow. Aza wanyame gbanto ike aza bungalow ye ya. Akemi ako office ako example. Be wo yi ko zipi ye ho ye nu yo beto ko de ho me ko ne si ande mega valete podi. Nuka emia wo nyaka we mia gblo. I'm sure our call will be the same thing for accountability. Ba me yo kata henya no fi mi ekpo afa menya le kwa ne mi yo. Ne mi abia gbo. Na wa anami akonta. Jidudu fa gazaza ya kachon alota flache de majeji. Ne nem no me mawa. Elebe mia atoteo. All right. Le fifia yi ke me mi doa. Mia ajuru me kpo ale itututu mia le mia pe nu no lao be le jidudu pe nu zazan onu wakwa si kokoma wako bubu ma bubu nyenye ma ike mi daroji yo che wakoko dade jidudu pe nu zazan onu ale mia we fifia mi gati MC ye o wa afonu be fi yo nye yo fe mlo pe wa ame yo jo le te pe o mele bene o kenemi omele bene o mi le yo pe nya ogbolo megba na me yo ava khode fifie to yo mi ava aga diga abele MC egbolo ne be yo agbugbo adiga ajere dogbo afa no agbala o me pom la be fi ko chu afa le do me ya. Let's look at the cost. Who is bearing the cost? Is assembly. Even if you say he wants to be purchasing the fuel at a point, okay, coupon, at a point, assembly will have to refund some of them. Mio kwe aga he because mio do me vio yo wole do womna. Ya penya selao. E wo yike le todom. E yo entrust any state property into your hand there. Be a patriotic citizen. Be a patriotic citizen. Na alle benane nem no mao. Ale miao ale mia fe do walao denu bewa ale bena dukwa fe kesino nuo ya fe yo la do jibe yo adenu jedodo me fa tan wa yo mi 0247900764 bakple 0203766500 jidudu alo dukwa fe nu ebe kesino no alo fe nu amesi ike mi kokko de adu me vi do walao si ble belele yi ke wocho na o enye kuhi maintenance culture enye mi ape kuhi mi ape todo la ke rakpa ya. Hello, good morning.
Mr. John.
Yes.
Ako Robert to agachima pete.
Okay.
Enya na make edefu e wo mblanyi be egbe eyi kememilia ya fa nwu law ike oni de nkoro jibe honorable plato wa onu na fa gba wono enya na make edefu pike nwa edefu le gbanye be ne honorable ya alobubu me ya wole shijia no la for your dem me assembly members o gbroma o me twa de kalemu ala be dunya he haike ngo ole a enye kpokho nnu ale party re share manyema le party re kan ko yogo ta enye na make afudem ta wi ya jole keta ntoma ro panye keta re kako keta toko ya se ni legba afide toko ado nya ajovo wi ya ta ale be no hetu na nanem honorable ya ba don kujibe yemanya be current honorable agbo ya keta nko jole keta baya le fane ke baya enya na ne ke defu honorable ya ke yo nko yo fia honorable gamega ya eva fle alo eva khut nka assembly fanigba ele ifo khotumreji ezare mo ba gbo khote faro ele bo etu apasese ibo susu la nye be yeku la fuma no ka Kristo na va o na menyi pe ta rojun egbe megala fumo ta le be na wo nwi ikebe odu ngwa na lelo menye ntore ke mu ko da do lo
okay
ikebe ne chona megala la fuma o de na zo bloji va ina de o amesha ma bu wa shino mesha ma o winu ka ke gbede ate zo ke ta bloji anu yin la blood ma
okay
ta ni le te fe de ni wo do be stop nyano gbanyi amadana
akpe kaka for Robert. Hello, good morning.
Sister to Agwaje.
Eje for McLean.
Yo me phone, me bele doji.
Yo me aha.
Sister to ayo pete mi mo me 720 ya. Eni eduko anu ma lo fo gbogbo. Na loduko, ye duko fo na ne la yin a. Ta fra che na duduga ala be na lebna ye be amele gba na mo no ga. Ala fa kamele duko si o. Yesu ka funa ka bubu jiga aka ba ko jato fo de me ka ba ba. Nyama ko mo do de ta fa che ba nya for nyanya. Ado puna bo me yo fa jidu de gale si jino go tala. Wa gbe mo do ma fi aju. No. Ayo to ko mo ko anya du malo fo gbogbo. Ta fa anya je wo fo gbogbo. No. Ndi ya de ejile memu mi afata ni to mo yo ko wu. For nyanya ma. Bye bye.
Yo for McLean ejijako ele do baba ele de fia be sefefeto. All right, pepe ya sala yenye no jojo ike ele fifie ike mine no fo le keta no to amele le gbo mi afa bubu mewo pas belele na dukope no amesi no yimi kokko de awosi akwa nyebe edowonuo anye afemenuo ike ne la femene le dome wazan akọ awodo logistics mi akọ now ale ike wo le abena nu your way lo fe jojo yi nu yo mi eva sia me de sia de do na mi se na me yo ajibe ne mi se nu yo le do modom da lo fe nu to me klo fe do fe wa wona mi se ne ike ga jemi fifi aside the regional residency ya nye eketa nu to me na fi ke MC amolo adata do a gbede tepia menyo hole me ko yo be over paint kwa bele monu ne nya gere kwa feel be do yeji le homene kamme yo de onye bubu mo mi yo mi dan ko de jike maka ko yo ya na mi fa assembly me no lawo ha be alle ke mi la assembly me eye nenye be wodo ega fenya woda le ike wa adiga lo gade never you wazan akowo edode we ya let me approve of those monies me mega vai do alon nyoche mi ti enya oyo mekpo. Hello, good morning.
Morning, isa yo.
Yeah, for Paulo.
Mami afona wa.
Eh.
Ufukuga mo la. Enyenu ke eli vina gana tuko. Susuno program mo me play to kota pa play. Be du ko me wanyo ta ma wona yiro le e ma me gbabo enya nya biviare ka fa mi to mi fo wo le fi kwa che ko mi na yi mi president ya ro be that the seat of government ne po mari e won blani na mi fa afu ko ma ka fa na MCU me bi le mo so na ko do ri na kwal ho no ma ki mo no la e de fu ne bu to fa be na o ke ka to fly na afu mo bi ti fly la e do la engineer me ga lo mo basa akade bi won to jagba ke o le office ke o force ke o temple o manage bodo ke fle de la kasa ka mala akwa be le jeje ba bianye be de am kai won mi le gana mi le fu elo alo nka nyi japo su ta ka fla o be am yo ke mi da ko yi won na bo so la e do la e so vi le je be am yo ko anu go na mi akoda to feri e je be ngom kuku le bond then man you sign no if they hand over the government property to you. If you are leaving office, you have to account for it. Maybe na number you have to pay. I think this will save us a deterrent and other people who come to that office. Don't learn a big lesson. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Auditors all assembly made procurement ame yonye a guard the law no flela or procurement officers. So what did they do? Apa mi ojo. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Sister Jijo.
Papa.
Ola me takoro.
Ya ha.
Yo, e kwa zipa pare kaji.
Yo, me ko ijina.
Mere kuna za fe MC he our take over from epe success ade we wanna inventory. Tano wa inventory. Oh, enukele kwa me ave valo. Oko chale bedroom so. Etile po me ukele totope de within the campus here and there, ABCD. Your security here and there. Ume one hour. So at the end of the day, say MC Kenegales ye GOD, tell the Jojo inade, umaga wa inventory. You see, Ghana is not a serious country. Ghana is a serious country. These individuals, say when your government appointees, they must take the core review for granted. So at the end of the day, as I may have a neutral assime, aka to three ABCD, paying income tax. And you develop country have MC Valene. So at the end of the day, American base has expired. So when you join that, look at assembly, on top of auditors, so assemblymen, woman will inventory, oh, and look at how come nowadays, they join it and not later. You are the money making, but they go free. Yeah, they get me the lament today. Who should be blamed? So the assemblymen and the auditors within the assembly should be blamed for.
Okay.
We are giving too much opportunity to the government. No misusing. So until anyone here Donado to me oppress, so can we take audit, inventory, pay eligible, ever eligible, the government towing. Let me take inventory. Oh, yeah, can you look at highway? Then without that, look at how you go.
Okay. All right. So in some places, over Yolewa. So how about Keta Leyo Kowei? Be ayi keglo Isaac Papale. Megblodongo auditors all assembly me. Amrewenye gade lao together with them. You way in at the PL because on your time come miajo before you move in. Then do me let the power. Anami memo anami agbale. Mia angolon aba pele no mo akodara ina TV yo fridge yo iron yo abaye mega nyo ji abaye yo the closet where you mega nyo do gba we ga dibubo pete o assembly ji wa diga adole no mo kata I workmanship at a point they'll even go and buy inferior things so at a high cost. Nela be assembly penwe jidudu penwe choncho no gazeno gbelenkwa waga pele bubu. These are the very things we do. Me ava hoga gbogbo those in charge go and buy new petrol as a fake inferior products so good so ava fix I install and 2-3 days and work blend wava pele paint yo tafla chene chichi one of the we now echi jazzy venture ndo vukwekolo. After a year, 6 months, and then when we are even leaving, mi maga lebena mi na mi avio na nyebe viole mi asi wa lebena no na nyebe strong le mi asi mi lebena me don't move out from their residences. And when you see bagbala jakakali kaklen of your pete cha ole honorable so honorable in their rooms. Only honorably in their rooms. Ojo, you moving and you see like you ask yourself, I'm view no very dirty walls. Their doors, they don't care about anything. Louver blades are broken and like abiado kio se cheer crom me yolo wall. If is it because no tonko bonye jidu du fe no no meka o krawe yale miasi. I think this honorable thing ever let tometi na mia medo that we should even stop calling all these people honorables. I think when they leave office, they are not able to do anything honorable. You're a former honorable. They call honorable. We should just call them by their name, Mr. This, Mr. That, because you're no more occupying that seat. Let me job for New York, make blend that in McBery. Ome GM, ome Jemmy apen call. Me one when you are handing over there, Naji Jordan and Norme. Don't even write in you're handing over no things that are not on the ground. Oh. And that attitude where officers who are supposed to be in charge of some services, offices, so they don't care about anything because no other external force is coming from anywhere pressurizing them to check if they are doing what their duties out are. At the end of the day, we only cry that salaries are meager. I want to station or not that ejinami. But when I want to check with the work we do with a salary, you mean like globe gadareji, you mean like globe no dare gajina mia o me so na gbere o. Anka na Ghana mega lela o. Aba mere le nyare me se na do mi ado hallelujah re un. Taflache. Ne mi atro mi afa no mo le fe vire mi afa nya sela o. Ale ike wo nya le kwa. Mi ano no jojo ayo me akpo be keta to de wa ha assembly this MC ho over wa bia gbo ameyo eva ifle no the works committee chowa wa fe do na mi akpo be de fika agojeje cho emeka we cough out the money for the state. All right, mi apela mesenya to le klalo akaya fe mi aho kwere amana 1 minute abo. Now attach on this, then me a whole am a seminar now.
Jijo, good morning.
Good morning.
Enya eto atinya edetume engolome pete for football of what look mejemiu honestly. But my contribution will be for those working in the assembly. And the second one is too much power. Ona power piti ko dara MC kule this year sime. Takaka honya son went to office ko yours or gboro le fimi. Enya ke honya gboro ko final. Ne yi hebala nya de bia even director le fima budget officer gboro oh to mega never ne nya ke ho gboro de then we ya Jimmy Azoro. And it will even surprise you be no le abeke he obe no renovate the PF like. Ne budget officer hele budgeting no le budget wa benori stock te fie wa budget no do ndeka wa pleton de kai de gbo ke yonto ma suswe ekehe ne jogbe nuele assembly on hills be former MC or this year he blended the home kurache hills ba meye vine kaka na yako wa ba lonu suswe opo ba lonu ho mi opetele fimi amare yonto document gombe ameye ba waga play. That is where our tax the document me tax pay me tax so lele to come make umelen blani bona kafra akajrala tomato jirala atadi jirala momo jirala gamio ke hole gakwekwe mi ojole yapele kevie me yidi umelen blani bona gamio. And honestly there should be a system to take these people, hold these people to account. Many other bungalows where PWD is there when you are going in. No, you are going to occupy a bungalow.
Moving in.
Yes, they guide you to check. If you are ordinary worker, when you are going, you go back and they uncheck you. What happened to our honorables?
All right. That question, we'll leave it for the assembly members to answer. So we'll now move to the next segment, which is health, and we'll share today's topic with you when my guest is seated. Ya apology. Me hola me se me enonya o me fe no fiala ke no me agbo blada sia blada pe no patients abebu ndia inye health promotion officer gale mia dome ndia pe tanya yenye new races Okay. I kept a bebe. Uncock with a queer fellow. I gave a cost anyway. Wezo.
Yo.
We possibly less send it. Akpe. Wa fi mega dogo po. All right. And races yenye mi ape eta nyanzike oba do you. All right. Me I say
Okay. So I'll break it down in the English first. So we are thank for the listening. This morning we are looking at enuresis. And enuresis simply means bedwetting. It's commonly known as bedwetting. And bedwetting we have two types. The first one is nocturnal enuresis. That is the one with the bedwetting in the night. Then the diurnal enuresis is the bedwetting in the daytime.
Okay.
Yes. So some people experience both. Some also experience only the night one. The enuresis does not only affect the children as we think. In some cases, elder people also experience enuresis. Not in the case of ill health. I'm not talking about the ill health. The person is strong, moving up and down. But whenever sleeping, day or night, the person wet bed. And this is involuntarily. And on the part of the children, it should be about 5 years.
Okay.
Below 5 years is not enuresis. It should be about 5 years. So anybody about 5 years wetting the bed is a condition that we have to look at. Now, what are the things we see that we judge that this person is wetting bed? The first one is the person must wet bed at least twice in a week. And at least twice in a week. Then wetting in the clothes. When the person sleeps, it should be unconscious. It shouldn't be intentional. It should be unintentional. It's like the person, by the time the person wake up, then the person feel bad that, oh, it has happened again, which means it wasn't the person plan to do it, but it has happened. So what are some of the factors? What are some of the causes or the factors that may cause these things, uncomfortable things, these enuresis? Number one is a small bladder. Some people, they are a reservoir for urine. Everybody have a reservoir for urine. That's what we call bladder. And so if the bladder is small and the person also drinks plenty water, then anytime the person sleeps, whether day or night, then the person may wet bed involuntarily. Then persistent urinary tract infection. If there's infection in the urinary tract, it can also cause the bedwetting. Then the third one, severe stress. Some people, we overwork within the daytime. Then due to tiredness, we wet bed. But the bedwetting that we are talking about now is the sickness one. Not the one that when you dream and you are urinating and it happened once. No, not that one. This one, at least I'm saying that twice in a week. Yes.
It's possible that it will happen during the day
or the night. Or some people even experience it, whether they are sleeping in the day or night, it happens.
Okay.
Yes. Then when the person also drinks too much water, as I said, but we also said we should drink plenty water. But here in the case, some people, when they do that, they wet bed. Then sleeping history. Sometimes when the person sleeps late and also drinks plenty water before sleeping, or takes plenty fluids before sleeping, it can occur. especially
18 a lot.
It's also one. It's especially if the person sleeps late. It happens. Then family history of enuresis. Some people, family, it has been happening like that, and so out of some number of people, it will happen to one child or it will happen to one member. And sometimes too, this enuresis we are talking about, sometimes the person has not been urinating at all, but when the person grows, the condition starts. So that's why a lot of things have to be scrutinized in the hospital to see what has caused it. Then the management, how do we manage the neurosis or the bedwetting?
Okay.
As I said, if the person bladder is more, that one we cannot do anything. Then the medical expert, we have to see and the person too may not know. So the number one management is the person should visit if a child is experiencing or anybody experiencing enuresis. The person should visit a hospital, a nearest hospital or health facility,
So
for the doctors
would we
to.
advise that the person should take the fluids?
Yeah, I'm coming to that one too.
Early in the early parts of the day.
Yes. I'm coming to that one. So the first one is to visit a nearby hospital.
Okay.
Then the second one is to look at the fluids. Then the person should eat her last meal by 6 o'clock and drink by 6 o'clock. If the person sleeps at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, by 2 hours, we all know that digestion has finished after 2 hours. Then all the fluid and the things the person has eaten, we expect that most of them might have been eliminated before the person sleeps.
Okay.
Then infection. Those infections will be treated or maybe will be seen in the lab and be treated by the medical experts. Then sleep history. We have to control the sleeping for the children or the person experiencing this enuresis. How do we control the sleeping pattern? Sometimes if it's a child, you have to make sure the child sleep on time, like 8 or 9. 9 is too much for a child 6 years or 7 years. By 8 o'clock the child should sleep, and you, the caretaker, must be alert anytime you sleep and wake up in the night. Wake up the child, so that the child, sometimes the child is also not used to waking up in the night. So you wake up the child anytime you have woken up in the night twice or thrice, to make sure the child, sometimes before you wake up the child has done it already. Don't mind that one. All you are doing is you are training the child to wake up.
Okay.
So that when he is growing, he will be able to wake up on his own. Then severe stress I'm talking about. Some children, we overstress them. They run errands for us, and when they are tired too much, they can also wake up to urinate in the night or whenever they are sleeping. So we must also make sure we don't overload the children with our errands too much. Go here, go there, do that and all that. We must also limit it. And ourselves too, if we know we are also grown, but we are also wetting the bed, we must look at all these ones. Must limit the stress during the daytime.
Okay.
So those are the things that we must look at.
Okay. Do we have any studies that shows, or it's more in the boys or men than ladies? Okay.
The study shows that I didn't want to bother with those percent. 7% of girls wet bed more than the men, and it is only 5% of the boys that wet bed. Yes.
Okay.
All
right. Mia calculate
And so, okay, melegbo globe adudodo ba da baji anye kuhia de ke amegedo menyale ke miawa we menye de vio de kwe dona adudodo abaji o kafra amechichi doche menye le dolele ke yi me penya glomilo ame o le dole ya oto menye oto eke ke mi amemio mele la mesemele yi le gbogbo ke meglobe ne amadenya hocho paton ji kola gale adudodo da bajia miyone be bedwetting alo enuresis. Nui ke enana be ame don dona adudodo da bajia megblebe miaƒe sac alo nu yi ke lena aɖuɖɔ ɖe mia ŋu ame ɖewo tɔ tukui ŋu hafi amewo nona tsi zã. Ne wòdzɔ be tɔ tukui gake ele woawɔ anya be wòtɔ tukui wòmata nya o. Dɔkta koe ata wɔ scan anya be wòtɔ tukui. Ke ne wòle eme be amie tɔ tukuia eya tse nana be ne wòno tsi zã sigbe la sẽ ko amie ɖo aɖuɖɔ, sẽ ko amie ɖo aɖuɖɔ. Aɖuɖɔ ɖɔ ɖe abadzia nyimele gbɔ megblɔe be menye dɔléle tɔ abe sukli ame miwo sukli dɔ le fu ɖe na wotɔ woɖo aɖuɖɔ kaba sometimes wodɔnɛ ɖe abadzi menye yɔ wo gblɔm le. Ke ne amie hele nenye be sac he tukuia amie ata ɖo aɖuɖɔ ɖe abadzi elabe no tsi zã hafi wòmlɔ anyi. Megblɔe be aɖuɖɔ ɖɔ ɖe abadzia ete ŋu dzɔna le zã me ne amie mlɔ anyi alo le ŋkeke me. Wo pete aɖuɖɔ ɖɔ ɖe abadzi ko nyu. Ke aɖuɖɔ ɖɔ ɖe abadzi evelia yi ke megblɔ be nye ŋkeke me tɔa wo pete nu ɖeka ko nyu. Ame ɖewo experience na wo ame evea pete zi ɖeka. Ke nu yi ke miawɔ ƒe miatasi aɖuɖɔ ɖɔ ɖe abadzia gbã la ele be ne mia ayi kɔdzi ne woakpɔ bla be nu ka tututu na be mele aɖuɖɔ ɖɔ ɖe abadzi. Ke evelia ne mi le tsi no zã ele be hafi miamlɔ anyi la wòata no tsi le ŋkeke me tso ŋdi kaba ɖo gatɔ me la wòno tsi vɔ. Etsi gbogboa ke di be yeanoa dzagba woanoe le ŋkeke me ne wòasu. Ke mi kaka gade la woɖu nu susue wòno nu susue vɔ. Ke mi ne to mlɔ anyi ga nyi alo ga 10 la kafla wote ŋu ɖe nu miwo pete aɖuɖɔ ɖɔ kple nu mawo pete kafla ne nu ɖo godo wode wo pete ɖe hafi ne va mlɔ anyi le ga nyi kple ga 10 me. Ke wònye ne ɖevie le wɔa ke mi ehiã be ne edzila alo dzikpɔla ma ne dzagba ne wòa afɔe le zã me azi 3 alo zi 2 kokoko le zã me. Menye be mi ame ɖewo ne mi fɔ ɖevie wòdo aɖuɖɔ xoxo dze ɣli do zã ma mea menye ya gblɔ mi lo. Mi le fɔ kple susu be ne wòate ŋu anya be ne mlɔ la le be ne yeanɔ fɔfɔ. Ke mi ame ta ne enyoe kura tse wòdoe xoxo la ya me ma tatu macho gake miaƒe dɔdeasi nye be mianɔ wo fɔ be woaɖɔ aɖuɖɔ ɖe aɖuɖɔ ze me. And eɖeka vevetɔ nye be ele be mia train mia viwo toilet training. Ne ɖevi nya xɔ 3 months koa ele be ne mia dze wo kɔ da ɖe aɖuɖɔ ze nu. Ke mi kaka ɖevia ne xɔ 1 year la you have already trained your child. Train ɖevia ɖe aɖuɖɔ. Ta me kpɔ aɖuɖɔ ze we ma ɖɔ aɖuɖɔ ke wòtsi kple nu ma la ma ta ɖɔ aɖuɖɔ ɖe aba me ne menye infection ke gblɔ mi le dɔlekui ma yi ke ɖi efu na miaƒe aɖuɖɔ ɖɔ go nu ma wa. Ne menye ya yoa ɖevia ma ta ɖɔ aɖuɖɔ ɖe abadzi o. Eya ta wòle be ne miakpɔ gbɔ be mia train mia viwo no tukui no nya xɔ ɣleti 3 megado be ɖevia mi kɔ pampers kɔ le ɖeviwo kpla ya ta aɖuɖɔ ɖɔ ɖe abadzi nya va zu nya fifie. Ame ɖewo le pampers bla na wo viwo kaka woxɔ patɔ fifie tse wogale bla. Ya ta ne ɖevia xɔ ɣleti 3 kɔ ɖevia kɔ da ɖe aɖuɖɔ ze nu be ne toilet training ne me.
Okay.
Ya ko enye summary.
Okay. Yo akpe de egbeƒe nume ɖeɖi ya ta miaƒe nyaselawo ta enye ma nenye be matɔ ŋgbeƒe ɖe le dzɔdzɔ le aƒewo me eke ma awɔ ɖe aɖaŋu yiwo ɖo dzi gbãtɔ nye ayi ɖe kɔdzi. Ta mieda kpe ɖe miaƒe nyanuɖela alo nufiala ƒe nɔ Patience Abebu enye Health Promotion Officer, Health Directorate le mia gbɔ ndia. Miayi ɖe miaƒe wɔnawo dzi. It's brought to you by Mepe Enyanudela, our educator, health promotion officer, Madam Patience Abebu. We are moving on to the next segment, which is the news and the views segment. Remember, I brought you the speaker segment where we took you this morning far back to the south, to be precise, the Keta municipality. I want to take you to the market as well.
Didi Dan.
Because we are not here alone, we are being sponsored by some companies, and Hisense is back again. If you have not and ever in your life visited any of our showrooms across the nation, do so by visiting Accra and out of Accra. We are everywhere, making it easier for you to purchase any of our electronic appliances, including televisions, refrigerators, chest freezers, and air conditioners. We again have extensive selections for all you, such as the laser televisions, gas cookers, washing machines, smartphones, sound systems, water dispensers, microwaves, rice cookers, kettles, irons, air fryers, blenders. Hisense is your top electronic company in Ghana, and they're forever committed to the quality of their product, giving you 5-year manufacturer defect warranty on every item that you purchase. Hisense, best for quality, best for durability, energy efficiency, affordability, style, and best for technology. 40302550000. Visit our website hisense.com.g. Hisense, everyday prices for everyday people. All right, we want to move on quickly because we'll still take you to Accra. We'll be speaking to some individuals this morning on still the latest development on the Savage Effie and then the former fetish priestess Nana Agrada. All right, so all those interviews are on this morning. Just stay with us whilst we bring you those ones. That is this one is from the Student Loan Trust Fund under the no fee stress policy. The reimbursement, they have announced that it will begin reimbursing academic user fees in June. So next month for first year students enrolled in accredited diploma or degree programs at public tertiary institutions for 2024-2025 academic. So it's for accredited. Remember, sometimes they come up with a list of programs that have not been accredited. So you must make sure that your program you're offering is accredited. Other than that, you might not be a beneficiary under this. Anyway, we have this and more.
That's unfairness.
To share with you and on the portals and the papers as well. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I hope you are all doing well.
Yeah, I could not even wait to say good morning.
Why?
Because of the accreditation issue you have mentioned.
But you must your courses must be accredited, and that well, accreditation is a renewal. So if it has expired, your institution must make sure that they have made have done the necessary.
So why should they punish the student for the lapses of someone? A student just apply.
You will be the sufferer.
The school published the course,
and I've applied. You should inquire.
Yes.
You should inquire.
I don't even know. Why should I inquire? The thing is on their website. I saw it and I applied for it. But this line within my strength. I can offer it. The school gave it to me. So why should they punish me for something the university should have done?
As a student, you must also read around the course you are going to do. You must read around your institutions. You must go to their website. You must make some further
Okay, so
research by asking
those informations
questions.
are they even available for one to
The thing
see?
is, do you know whether programs are accredited or not?
I mean, how can you even check whether it's accredited or not?
Yeah.
Even if
The
you find out,
informations are not there.
even if you find out it's not accredited, what can you do yourself? You
And
can't do
so
anything.
you don't read that. You read another one that is accredited.
Really, they are going to
Or
waste
you
your
wait
dream.
until it is accredited, because they do come out with
Like,
reports on that. So
And
so
you
that
see,
is
university-
from the
Yeah, so sometimes when you
students
apply,
don't trust them.
for some course. It's not the same course you might get. So if you want to wait another time and apply, they might give you something else you might not be
Yeah,
interested
so you
in.
keep
So-
waiting.
Yeah, waiting.
I think it's at times some some students start taking actions against
Their institutions,
Yes,
the
institutions.
schools. Anyway, all right. So it's a good news, I think, for all first-year students. So far, no budget has been read, funds has been released, left with the reimbursement, and they have announced next month for that to take effect. Yenye Bedasi Kecho, the Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Sajida Shiraj, concerning the reimbursement set to begin next month, in line with policy directives from the Ministry of Education, and also a part of the NDC's campaign promises, which will. So we have you have to log on to the portals for applications and all of that. So eligible first-year students have been directed to submit the applications through no fee stress application portal. So you go and find out what the portal is. Then you apply. If you don't apply, wintoyelu. Anyway, let's move on.
Does it involve postgraduates too? Only undergraduates. There might be some kebab party someday. We'll find out. All right. So U.S. very interesting story here on Daily Guide says that U.S. court cuts announced $80 million award against Canada Japan to an interesting amount of $500.
It's on conspiracy.
Very interesting.
What he wants, from the first day when the announcement was made, the 18,000 or 18. People
18
were like,
million.
18 million.
oh, don't go for it. A lot of people were like, don't go for the money. Don't go for the money. Be only interested in the judgment and all of that. So he has a release here. So the interest is just it's not so into the money, but it also raises the question, why 18 million and then to dollars to $500.
Can you imagine? Not even 5,000. $500 is well. It raises eyebrow. I don't know what.
It is, I would say, clear.
It's not a
that-
Ghanaian court again. You say that he
oh no,
he
but
want to do
who said that place where they don't do conspiracy? I
but
said
when the judgment came,
It's a,
all of you were
it's a
happy
deliberate
that,
orchestration to make
the
someone
Ghanaian
look
court
good.
was not able to, have a fair hearing in this case. It took it out there. They had the case. A judgment was passed. Even a fine was, slapped on the honorable member.
Yes.
And Obele, your first semester, you can still
Okay.
appeal for.
You can say appeal for
Remitita.
They
review.
filed a motion for remitita,
Uh-huh.
asking the judge to reduce the amounts awarded against him.
Okay, so what are the
let's
factors the first judge put in place before he came out with the 18 million? And what goes into this one before it has been reduced to 500? $500.
So according to the court, they are saying that the 18 million was too much of an award for a defamation case.
Okay,
So the
my issue is the
Remitita
factors that
engagement
amount to the 18 million.
is-
Are they different now? It amounted to the 18 million yesterday. Is it different now? That reduced to 500.
when you sue someone, sometimes you're going with your amount.
So the judge look at it and say it's fair, and he has
and
awarded
they have
it.
accepted the 18 million. They've
And
awarded
then there's
it.
a plea that I can't do.
But
if
what
I
the
do this
plea
one.
should come down, if it can come down, should it be $500?
Yes,
No,
it
at
should
least
not.
like-
And their
Even
own
it's up to $1
wisdom,
million.
Definitely a nurse will be involved. It wouldn't be the judge alone. So he and his legal team will also be involved, and they've realized that what they want is the judgment
Meant.
pass against him, not maybe necessarily the money. So just something, a token, just to serve to others that when you defame, you'll be taken to court, and then the law will deal with you.
So I think according to Anas lawyer, they got the publication. They realized that Anas Kennedy Japan has gone for the remetita, and the amount has been reduced to $500. So they are, after that, they released a press statement to express their concern on that. So they were even surprised anyway. But as you
Why
said,
should you be surprised when we have your victory is in the judgment, not the award?
yes, but
As Ghanaians may recall a couple of
million.
weeks, that shouldn't be a contradictory statement from
But
the,
would you
and
think
then
who's his money and say
a couple
he's
of
not
weeks
happy
ago,
about the
an
money?
American jury found Kennedy Japan guilty of maliciously defaming my character. Consequent to the finding by the jury, an amount of $18 million was awarded in my favor against Kennedy Japan following the award. So it has been granted. And they are not. I'm not with this that we have here. I've not read all, but with this that we have here shows that it's a judgment for them, not the award.
Well, they are very lucky I am not nearer to that court.
Hey.
so why didn't they
I would have also
mention
filed
this?
another one.
Why didn't they mention this at the beginning? Until it has been slashed before they say it's not about the money, it's about the.
Well,
this thing.
if he were to pay it, they'll take it.
They will take it.
They would
So
have taken it. So it means
now
that
saying that you are not
even
interested
if you say,
in
well,
money.
they will not take anything, maybe they'll still accept it. All that they needed was in the judgment.
Those kind of money you might make plan for it, and then they'll come and cut it down for you.
Yes.
Hey, Kennedy Japan. All right. So somebody said he has one home and away. Okay. So he has one home and away. But anyway, as you said, the case is the one that is important. He has still not won the case. It's the money that he has won. So let's leave it down there. Right. So let me move to Daily Graphic newspaper. Is reporting here. First Lady's Mother's Day touch, and you see her in the hospital giving out something nice there. And also, price reduction would take time. Professor Gachi, GNCCI, AGR call for sustainability, and is on the Daily Graphic newspaper. So, price reduction, we need to see it now. Sambi Jemfi appears before presidency over Agrada dollar gift. I'm not sure this story will go down now. Maybe we'll handle it for the whole week. Hubtel 20 utilize digital innovation to create employment for youth, and that's coming in from the Minister of Youth. And the Daily Searchlight is still also reporting suspend probe Sami Jemfi. His apology is not enough. Group demands. All right. So NDC Youth besiege Forestry Commission office in ANCHI or NCHI. And also on the Daily Searchlight newspaper, re-employ the over 12,000 SAC workers by rolling out promised 24-hour economy program Yadom Boachi to government. And also, Honorable Hakim Adai receives most outstanding philanthropist award. 3 track in terrible accidents at a Chim Asafo, 3 dead. Unfortunately, they've lost their life. May they are so rested in perfect peace. Let me give you Daily Post newspaper. I say Lordina Mahama clears medical bills of women on admission at Kolebu Maternity Ward. That's a very good news. Sami Jemfi Agrada matter is a much ado about nothing. That's coming from Martin Kwebu. So Martin Kwebu is also raising a point that Sami Jemfi has not openly given out the money to Agrada. It was done in his private vehicle. It was the camera that came in there. So it was not something like an opulence, as being maybe somebody is saying it's opulence. It's not at all. It was in his private vehicle. It was invaded by a cameraman, so it wasn't done in public. So that is Martin Kwebu's point. Finance and Energy Ministers inaugurate implementation committee for Ghana's second gas processing plant, and it's on the Daily Post newspaper. And if Frank has some, then let's take some from Frank now.
Let me take you to graphic business economics, stable but fragile. S&P assesses. Then concerning CD depreciation, CD appreciation, Guta urges members to cut prices, which is my concern. Business and Financial Times.
It's today's market day. Maybe if you should go to the market now with our recorders and start questioning the traders if they are hearing what Guta is saying. Some of them have not even heard what Guta is saying, and I don't want to listen. How is this going to affect Agbelimo Fufui in the market?
It will come from the driver. Driver, no Georgine.
The minister is here to meet with them. The transport minister is here to meet with the driver unions.
They should hurry up.
So that they reduce their transport
at least fares. For the first time in this country, something should happen like that. But no delegy at least this thing should happen. And this is my call. When there is a reduction, the noise is loud, and when there is a reduction, we don't hear anything. No. When you go to the market, they'll tell you dollar AG. You don't even know how many of them are buying their things in dollar. They go to Togo here, and they tell you CFA AG, and the moment CFA with even some pesos, they don't bother. No.
To reduce by 10% on any of their products. So we are going to the market today. And we'll find out from our traders if they are ready to listen to this call.
They have to
our
listen.
drivers must. It is a must for all the driver unions.
Yes.
The way they collaboratively come together to increase fares 20%, 30%, 50%. They must again unanimously, accept. There you are.
I just found you in a boxing ring this morning.
Oh, Mazikola.
So
it's very important we see a reduction at least the first time.
And no,
are they also hearing?
They have to also reduce it.
We need a conversation like a month to be able to understand exactly what is necessitating the increments in Miafe accommodations. The high cost of living in
It's just too much.
You sit and then you just look back.
It's too much.
Look back, lo. Me no fear me do Keke 1 CD lo. And I remember when Keke came 2018. I be told Dabra Junction, wait for them until they pass. Almost forgot those times. The drivers will be telling you, be waiting for them. Just 1 CD 50%, 50% difference. So now look at what is happening.
Yeah.
We are waiting for that day after the negotiation with the driver unions. I'm a siya menya le Ghana keko. Again, who Kumasio Chole Coco pay Dabra 3 cities and 2 cities 50%. Salute 2 cities.
You see, let me have a benchmark for the price regulations in Ghana now. Though they just increase prices anyhow to some amount that you might not even see that is normal. And somebody also want to follow the same thing and do the same thing. The same with the landlords. I'm ready to go for 8 years. Maybe I can high for go cement price. And yes, cement mega. But we to go 8 years ago. We need to regulate this rent issues here.
It's worrying. It's a very worrying situation that we all need to come together, have a beautiful conversation around, and see how best. Because workers, just look at the companies around. How many companies can they count themselves? Apart from the hospitals, the schools, which other work?
They are milking the students the more. It's the students who they are even milking the more. If you know the amount of rent they charge students, it's even more than. So, of course, standard we call the normal people. It's just too much. Me regulate me.
Can it be regulated when the government has refused to build bungalows? Even the few they have built, look at how we are taking care of them.
Refuse to resource rent control, empower rent control.
See, even the constitution, you should not pay beyond 6 months. Limit to 6 months for a landlord. You don't have to pay more than 6 months. But look at how much we are paying. The landlord says you must pay 1 year.
1 year.
It's illegal.
1 year. Now they are if you gava who was it 2 years.
Some even 1 year, 1.5
1 year, 1 year,
1 year.
It's illegal.
Because that 1 year, we look on top direct gaji on your sobota. Omaga insistence or gareme via 2 years melas you kola. Oh yeah, you will not have it. Like over like 1 year, me there won't touch up
1.5 year.
10,000 Ghana cedis just for a year just to rest your head.
It's
bad. Too much. It's too much. Don't take it to heart, those of you listening to us, because it's your interest. But a few of them are doing well. Just a few of them are doing
well. Which way? Doing well in terms of price.
The well means what?
They are doing well.
None of them.
They are doing well that when you enter the room and the amounts being mentioned, I say me.
Jijo.
It makes sense.
Jijo.
Compared to some that when you look at the room and you you see the money, you are like, are you serious?
Jijo.
Please read what the papers are telling.
Okay. Let me take you to Ghanaian Times. Ghanaian Times. At AU Summit, President John Mahama is speaking. Said, "Free Africans of debt crisis. Free Africans of debt crisis." So, talking about debt crisis, you know how we always go for IMF loan, Eurobond loans, and the other loans, and for collateral alcohol gawe. So
it's also said it should take responsibility for the debt, and then it should also, when it comes to borrowing, it should be reasonable in the borrowing.
Yes.
They just have to.
And I like something he said. When you take the money, think of that thing that is very essential to the citizen, and use the money for.
You don't borrow to chop. You invest them into,
You say you don't borrow to chop?
No, we don't borrow to
I
pay
will see
salaries.
KK party and watch a party in the
We borrow
past.
to build market, at least. Me a pondele fuma to build hospitals. Me a generate something. Stadia, I will get something, and good roads and tow the roads. We'll get something to pay. Creational centers, theaters. We'll get something.
Sure.
So me a pay this NAFAC.
NAFAC.
Not to NAFAC, at least. Me the mina go globe assembly.
When NAFAC we get NAFAC we go to go.
That boy a gym.
Yeah, okay, so after now, one.
And our library too.
But before car the def, but before car we get NAFAC center.
I don't know once the corner me akodoli.
Library, yes. Oh yes, when you are coming to register for a book, you need to pay something.
Anyway, I want to take you to Apulawu quickly, then we come back again, taking you back to
before
Accra.
Let me take you the last story.
All right.
Say father jailed 10 years for impregnating 15-year-old daughter.
Incest.
Ah.
Real daughter, biological daughter.
But yes, daughter is biological.
Feelings kakuma nyemi gada.
You don't even understand what kind of feelings and on their own against their own children.
Oh no.
That it should be, protecting, nurturing, and none should ever then when you that now be that for that boy and when you be Vitoy, you want to take charge.
Harvest you no
I know the VHL she's exposing herself too much to the dad. A man is a man. I got another show now you too much into a couch.
The girl is how many years? Some of them are even
15 years.
Some are even 10 years. Otolo got there. 3 years Otolo got there. 5 years Otolo. So feelings kaya no. Na 3 years V. When to V and no you can do full no you can do full GV. Now I know that you like bo kwa lo megale Ellen what te we kwa like be cover the view. Those young females in town, won't you go after them? Why your own child? Yoga better no to me hegala no more. Mamita si ape to early never did them yet. Police arrest suspected killers of mobile money vendor in Apulao.
Yes.
So on May 10, 2025, that's this year, between the hours of 1200 and 0200, the Volta Regional Police Intelligence Department, that's the RPID, in a joint intelligence-led operations with the police SWAT units, Operation Motherland Task Force, and Action Now. A community watch committee in Aplau arrested 4 suspects who allegedly shot and killed a mobile money vendor in Aplau on April 28th, all in this year. 2, the suspects are Michael Sewonu, aged 34, Koku Agbuada, 43, Achu Agbagala, 36, and Uchuku Onyeso, 22, a Nigerian. They are currently in police custody assisting in investigation. It will be recalled that on April 28th this year, at 18:15 hours, about 5 unidentified robbers attacked and shot Christopher Ahodo, a mobile money vendor, at Agbagbala, Kope, near the Diamond Cement Factory in Aplau. He died at the scene while the assailants took away his bag believed to contain money. A suspect will be arraigned before court on Tuesday, May 13. Today, the police are once again entreating the public to be security conscious and collaborate with us by providing credible and timely information about criminals. Signed by the DSP Felix Danko, Public Affairs Unit here in the capital. Okay.
Yeah, so kudos to the Ghana Police Service. I think they are doing very well. We heard about some incidents.
Yes, over the weekend.
Let me give you to just report that.
Now, no, my interest is that now the informations are coming out from the police department.
Yeah.
So we are now
Not
getting
like
to know.
last year, where all of these things we didn't even know what they have done about it, whether the criminals have been assailants have been arrested or not. But they are doing so well lately. They are giving us timely reports, and we are also sharing those reports to the listeners. So nenyebe esenu jojo male apply no to me relative vibe me penke ke black for enyilia be mobile money vendor dey ke ame manya do ga ke fi obazo amenya nye eye wo datu nenem mobile money vendor ma eye wo ko ga bag vehicle en wo bu be ga home de wa no me kokko sia bo vitol joint force yo me yo dongo wo den kona be motherland task force police SWAT unit play action now community watch to when I see asime eye wo he nenem ameyo de go yi ke wa metonye Ghana VGGO emi so open call eye onye pa wo ha ba play apeto vi de kai ke ye pe black vevo evevi yenye de vitukwito lo mepete ya ye ne Nigeria no yo we pe le no me ya head apeto vi apa gbeda kaka si su oji le profito pe nyanu ke gbe nke kiame wa he wa ire avonu ye.
Okay, so in related story again in Ho here, 3 armed robbers jailed by Ho Circuit Court.
Those people.
So, and the summary of it is they robbed someone of iPhone 6X.
Oh. And you go and be in jail over 6X.
6S.
So the
700 city. I think it's 700.
So the convicted persons are Mercy Sokpe, a lady.
Yes. They are trained. We better tell me being a lady.
22 years. Then Achuka Masa, 25 years, and Godfred Chidonu, 19 years. And a chomenonya 7 decade to be a decade akra no motor repair Siki Road more cafe melefi. Hello do melefimie.
Ebe dolesi lo wa.
Dolesi lo wa pe ake decide.
Like I'm not going to do emele osio.
Because sometimes
we always say domelo osio tai, domelo osio tai. Veto me vivie.
A kan beton bu belesis fia.
Amen.
Quero wa pote.
No fifi de menyo mitasi. Mitasi kra. All right, so applaud ye me va ho all relating to fifi pe enya. We try invite me for no na me pe MC, le me pe moji. Ame yo me no toji wa pete kude pass only ala for the day ike o day last week Wednesday. Baby alem kude asie me pe no jojo. Me for no ke eke o meje ma ko dare me pe nya se la ogbo fe via. De me apogwe da si ape ga kede yi e potore me asita. E kude asime ho wonti ame yo ho asi ho. Okay, America ho ameton. Okozu business ole wawa. Okozu business ole wawa. Obe nemia ano jajera do mela be yo gbona na mi. Ame yo chokwe 250 kwa assembly be le kokona. Akemi gboga ko haina mo 400 500 onye vevese sena mi ole he mi o mi no anyi zu business mi o mi le gakpo wa assembly ike to ko be akoji gakra mi opete nova gbanle me wo yo nko enya to present madam mi ekpo nenne le nko me wa me ton wa me ne kwa you release all of them na me o sia me ike je e la ba sia gbanto ko pe tutua court nya opete over gere me o here me gba fu wa pe aside de le unvava ye to your hand to ona minya bobo de foto kpla medo be yo no mega chijo ni minya to ho gbokwa mi o mi a prioritize ayo cheva se ne fifi oba mi edu le kplo vese adachi be yo mekpo yo togo me le store ho to me hado e mo beto ba committee assembly set up committee de wa le nku de no mo kata unti le yi ku ya de meko ye wa ho la me o si wa kona me yi oje na waza for open intended purposes so alota doji ne keta to ho wa na wa azan olo tamiano jajara do me migbo.
All right, So let me take you away from home. Let me send you back to Accra. Parliament minority is saying something about constitutional crisis. So minority condemns absence of the president and the vice president and the speaker of parliament. So they have severely denounced what is described as flagrant violation of the 1992 day, that was yesterday, May 12th. So the Speaker of Parliament must be sworn in to serve as president in the event that neither the president nor the vice president are accessible according to the Constitution. At the time of the statement, Vice President Jane Nana Opoku Ajima was in the UK for medical treatment. President John Dramani Mahama was in Togo for the African Union Debt Conference. The minority further pointed out that Alban Bagbin, the Speaker of Parliament who ought to have taken over, was also abroad. The Chief Justice is supposed to take a presidential responsibility in the event that none of the three are present under the Constitution. Chief Justice Gertrude, however, is presently suspended. So the minority accuses the government of treating the Constitution as an inconvenience rather than a binding framework, describing the situation as a deliberate and calculated act. This is a statement coming in from the minority, and they are saying they have to come and answer questions. Why they all leave post?
Okay,
The
they
government
have a
empty.
point where currently we don't have any leader. So in the event of Samiji Mfi, the chief of staff, who is the headmaster, someone would say for those appointees would have to invite Samiji Mfi and awaiting the president for the next action to be taken. So they have a point. We already know that the speaker is number 3. And during the former president Akufo-Addo's tenure, we always see whenever they are not going to be around, someone is taking over officially and before he returns. So now that the vice president we know is on sick leave, and we also understand that a president is in Lomé, Togo, for that program, and Chief Justice is on suspension. We just want to again try to find out from our governance experts if indeed the acting Chief Justice, the Constitution have given him that opportunity to serve in that capacity. I think that is one thing we should find out. But the reason or the minority is stating in the absence of the president, the vice president, the speaker definitely is the chief of staff who must act. So currently it means that we are in the country without a head. All right, but we are currently joined by lawyer Akko. Okay, doctor, sorry, he's a lecturer at the one of our universities, and the only universities that bears the name of Ghana. He is joining us once again. He's a senior lecturer, political science department at the University of Ghana, Dr. Akpeko Agbevade. He's joined us on the phone lines this morning, and we're going to also look at the governance aspect of this development concerning one of the government's appointees, that is the acting gold board is chief executive, who over the weekend dashed money, he says it's indiscretion, to one of the citizens, Nana Agrada, and the video has gone viral, and almost everyone is running commentary on this development. Some calling for the president to take action, and the action is to show him the exits, to punish him, for him to be investigated. We want to look at the governor side of it. What picture does this paint for the president and the NDC administration and the government as a whole? Good morning, doctor. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning to you and your cherished listeners. And thanks for having me.
All right, we are grateful. All right, so with the development that you are privy to as the acting gold board director, doing a kind gesture to another Ghanaian, and it turns out to be a thing people seems it's a crime he has committed with the office he's occupying, and he being a lawyer himself, and some other issues being raised widely by citizens. Want to find out from you, from the governance aspect, what this paints, the picture it paints for this current administration, since they are loud in the fight against corruption and also making sure that his appointees conduct towards work.
on public officials. Now, the public official, that's anybody who is appointed to public office, operates in a complex environment. Now, the public official is influenced by political factors. He or she is also influenced by social factors and cultural factors. And how the public official is able to navigate this environment determines his success and survival in office, first as a public official and as a politician. Now, looking at these things within this context, and then looking at the societal issues in Ghana. In Ghana, our culture and social values do not frown on giving gifts and accepting gifts.
Okay.
So it is important that we situate this issue within that context. So from this background, one would automatically argue that the acting chief executive of the Ghana Gold Board has not erred in giving a gift to somebody. Now, this is the point. He didn't receive a gift for us to say that that gift that he's receiving will influence him in future decisions. But rather, he is giving out a gift to a Ghanaian, which he is noted for over the years. Now, the issue with the giving is the open nature by which he did it. One, going into your car, opening a bag or whatever, pulling out dollars. Now, this act alone portrays a picture of us accepting the perception that politicians always go around with huge sums of money in their cars.
Okay.
And that perception has been there over the years. And then Sammy Gyamfi's action has actually confirmed that. So that ceases to be a perception. It is now actual.
A reality, a fact. Okay.
Yeah, it's not reality. It's now actual. So we move from perceive, we move from perception, and then he has landed it into the actuality or the reality of what our perceptions as citizens have been over the years.
Okay.
Now, so that is on that. Now, having said that, living in giving out the gift, but then the approach, the openness, and the president has over the years been calling for humility, has been calling for modesty for public officers and those. So that is where, for me, he made a mistake. But then, he has also given us a picture of what we expect from politicians in our days.
Okay.
That when the public uproar was high and everything seemed to be going against him as far as his act was concerned, he quickly came out to issue an apology to us as citizens.
Okay. Is that enough?
No, I'm building a point.
Okay.
If you compare this to what we have experienced over the years in our politics, hardly have we heard a politician who has erred and then coming out publicly to to apologize even before government office officially invite him, before he was even invited to the Jubilee House. So whether as a person he's been remorseful, he's been apologetic.
Okay.
Fine. Now you ask a question as to whether that is enough. And I will take that question from the angle of the code of conduct, which was launched barely about a week ago, which calls for modesty, humility for public officers and all those things. Now, if you look at the code of conduct, it was silent on what? The public official giving gifts to people, but rather it's focused on what? The issue of public officials receiving gifts from people, and then if it is beyond 20,000 or so thereabout, you must disclose it.
Sure.
Now, the same code of conduct also prescribes penalties or punishment for people who deviate from the prescriptions in the code. And now, as part of the prescriptions, yes, you can be dismissed, you can be reprimanded or warned to be of good behavior, suspended, and all those things.
Yeah.
So for me, yes, he has rendered an apology, and I wouldn't want to take the wind out of the sail of whatever the president will be saying on his return, or whatever his teaching cabinet together with him will be saying.
All right. Is this a development anyone should be disappointed in, and calling on the president, to take stringent actions against the Gold Board director?
Please come again. I didn't get it from the beginning.
I am asking if this is a development someone should be disappointed in, where we're talking about the dollar gift, calling the president, the bluff of the president to come up and hold his appointees accountable. And accountability here, most of the people are calling for is showing him the exit or punishing him, that is, letting him go of the office he's currently occupying.
Okay, thank you. I think there are several ways of punishing people for wrongdoing. I think calling for his outright dismissal from office is like using a more hammer or a sledgehammer to kill an ant.
Okay.
This one, the guy has not dipped his hands into state coffers. He is not under fire for a corrupt act. Right? What he did was what? A gesture, which is part of what? Acceptable part of what? Ghanaian culture and social values. So asking for his dismissal, I think it is on the higher side. For me, yes, there could be other means such as reprimand, because the guy has shown remorse for his action.
Okay.
And he's issued a public apology to that effect. So, in fact, what he has even gone through over the period is psychologically and emotionally painful. So for me, I think there should be other means of penalizing him rather than asking him to exit office outright. But then, if the president also, the action that the president will take on this matter determines the way forward as far as the behavior of his appointees are concerned, and then the future fight against on issues of accountability and corruption as we go forward in the country.
All right, so this is more or less like a test of time for the president.
Yes.
All right.
He cannot let this one, he cannot be silent on this. He must comment on it so that we know his stand.
Okay.
In the same vein, outright dismissal is also not the best way, because it's like using a more hammer, a sledgehammer to kill an ant.
All right, that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay, before we let you go, we have this concern from the minority, quick one, that the vice president, is on sick leave. She's not well, she's out of the country. The president is also gone to Lomé to go for a program, and the Speaker of Parliament is also not in the country. We expect that when the president is not there, the vice president acts instead. When the vice isn't around, the speaker does that. And if again the speaker, the number 3, is also absent, then the chief justice does that. And currently the minority is raising a concern that we are now left as a country without a head. The chief justice has been suspended and no one is acting currently, as the president, the speaker, and the vice president are all out of the country. So at this point, does the Constitution allow for the acting Chief Justice to act in state when the President, the Vice, and the Speaker is not around?
Thank you very much. I think I'm not a lawyer, but then reading the Constitution over the years, there is a hierarchy of authority in the country. Okay. In the absence of the president, we have the vice president. In the absence of the vice president, we have the Speaker of Parliament. And then in the absence of the Speaker of Parliament, the next in command becomes the Chief Justice.
Yeah.
Now, in the first place, the fact that all these people are out of their country and nobody has been sworn in to act as a president, I think that one is on the lower side, and then the executive arm of government should take a second look at that going forward into the future. Now, the Constitution clearly prescribes that if president is not around, vice should act, vice and president are around, speaker should take control. And then now that the speaker is not around, and I'm sure this is the first time that we are having that experience that all these three people are not around. And our democracy is gradually developing, and at every point in time, we have new experiences that come up. So for me, automatically, the fourth or the next in command is the Chief Justice. Yeah. In the absence of the substantive justice, there's an acting Chief Justice. So automatically, that constitutional requirement should have been triggered so that that person in the office of the Chief Justice in acting capacity can be at the helm of affairs in the interim.
All right. Thank you so much, but we are grateful for the explanation given to us.
All right. You're welcome. You're welcome. So thanks for the great work that you are doing for us as a country, and I wish you the very best of the day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. Me penya slaw mega echo gen to megbo egbe mi le chadi male gbegbe da minority ofenya mamlento me ko dada yin ese wata ese ko ese. So on the lower side of this government, of course they need to come back and answer a few questions why they did not do the necessary things before leaving us without any head. So we are just there. We don't have any head. The vice president is not around. Speaker number 3 is not around anyway.
What's your number?
And then number 3 is not around. And then number 4 too. Anyway, so when they come back, they should answer us, and we're expecting to hear something tangible, reasonable from them.
You see, okay. Honestly, the call from minority. Nenyebe no sworn in acting Chief Justice Fifalai. That will be a different issue altogether. So I don't know. This country will be on fire by this time.
All those issues he's still acting.
So who even swear him in?
That's the
justice. Who swear him in? He's going to swear himself
in. So this.
But I think he was just.
The Constitution, its own knowledge, knows that the Chief Justice swears in people, and if the Chief Justice is not around, someone definitely will have to take over.
Yeah,
so they just assume
in this country,
as
even the Speaker Alban Bagwe Sumana, I'm a president and the vice travel, but no someone him to the office class as unyale he hekeme as unyale Ghana lefi ya fifi. See, I want to ask minority today, is there any other thing? Don't you have any other things to do? Don't they?
Do you think you should be in a country without a head?
Who says we don't have a head?
Who is the head?
Okay, Samijan Fionyake Jode, who calls him?
Who called him? He's not chief of staff.
Yes.
And the constitution say that
the court feel like they
he cannot take any action. They are waiting for the president to come back.
Okay, so this is it. Whatever the situation might be, right?
And then they are waiting for the president.
Whatever the situation, whatever issue they are raising right now, I just want to put it out that Ghana is not at war. Ghana is not on fire right now, but we should be fighting for head.
We need a head.
Definitely, he will come back. They will come back.
We need a head. Thank you. We still need a head.
We are allowing this book called Constitution to rule our conscience, to rule our common sense in this country. Seriously.
But we can't do away with it. We are applying both. So take the oath.
I am telling you.
Which one is the fanfare in this one?
Yes,
so I
like
that.
That's the
panic button right now. People feeling that we also spend huge sums of money just to
you and I were not there. So don't.
We see it. We see it.
You see, the minority are just making a point to suggest that these people have intentionally left without any reason. They are making a point that the president must not go, knowing very well that the vice president is not there, the Speaker of Parliament is also not there. He should not go for an important
same thing.
political diplomatic assignment. I mean, you cannot say that.
There's one in charge. I cannot do my toreke melewa. Every chichito allow me de la PMA. Let me the compound house. Original message de la PMA. So it's the same thing.
For chichi that no no.
But though, so go to the
So
when the speaker is not around, deputy men not
first deputy,
so
second deputy.
Provide
Then
for,
if the first and second deputy were not, meaning majority leader take place.
So it's the same thing here.
So this
But
people, chief of staff tell
So
lady.
you are
the
only
constitution
contradicting yourself.
No, chief of staff tell lady. So
Yeah.
that's my point.
Okay.
That's not in the constitution.
Aside that,
anymore.
they have appointed ministers for the sectors. So work is going on. What's the problem? Ghana is not on fire.
Then we don't,
So
we
the
need
president-
not to vote for president again.
Oh no.
You don't need presidents.
no,
If you
no,
say the
that-
work is going on,
So-
ministers have been appointed, work is going on, then we don't need president.
But the
Okay,
president is
so
also
why
working.
should they delegate
He's also
power
working.
to you? Why should me as a president, delegate power to you? It means I want to have free hand to do something else.
You think if this were to happen under Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, you wouldn't have said the same thing?
I'll say it.
You think the majority now will not have
I
raised
will
alarm?
say it again and I'll say it every
So what
day.
is different now?
So the
You see-
difference here is Ghana is not at war. They have
Was
appointed.
Ghana
Where have
was,
been? Where have
was
been?
Ghana at war yesterday?
We shouldn't say that because of this thing. Mahama should not travel.
Nobody
for
is
an
saying you
important
need
movie.
travel. The
Yeah, I mean,
Constitution
this is
knows
a
that
very
you are not
diplomatic
in,
assignment.
You are not just going to be in the country. So since you are traveling out, anything can happen. Someone must be acting, and the citizens must be in the known that this is the person that is replacing you. Since we are all aware, Tosuku Kofi is these four people, and if all of them are not in place, like all work with maybe Obetoma Tanjo Zereka, chief of Chief Justice Anoy.
Here, in the past,
Again,
in
we
the
need to review our constitution.
Very well.
Enjaima.
We need to review it.
I think,
You
but
should state
but
that
this is
if-
not the
if-
first
if-
time. This is
if
not
a-
the first time. All these three people are not in the country. It happens in the past. Yakeloko make you and Messiah Dotoreji. So if like but let me don't overlook it in the past. Why don't you overlook it in the future?
So because
It's not creating any impact.
the chief justice is playing an acting role, he cannot take up that role responsibility because he's acting.
I think that's what we need to find out now. That if
mean-
he's acting doesn't mean that he cannot be sworn in.
Yeah, I mean, once you
to
occupy a
act,
position,
so that is what we need to look at. Let them come back and answer why it happened like that. It's fair for them to come and answer. When you caught now, I just want to know why you did not do the rightful, the needful before leaving. Even you heard doctor on this. It's on the lower side. It shouldn't have happened, but it has happened. Anyway, we'll take a breather here. Then road safety toll. But let's see if we can do that on the opinion segment.
Yes.
And we'll bring you that one as well. More conversation to come your way. It's still the Global Morning Show. Catch us live on Facebook, Global 105.1. Send us your contribution, your text messages, your WhatsApp, what you make of all the discussions. It's very important, and I'm glad to hear from you. safe driving during the rainy season or when it rains. Be moving on to the conversation with Elon Bisma Sakite, representing the National Road Safety Authority this morning. And focus is on safe driving when it rains. We are in the rainy season, and some precautionary measures drivers must be aware of and be taking every now and then is what we are coming to elaboratively talk about this morning. Good morning to all our riders and our drivers wherever you are listening to us. Thank you for joining the program, and this is for you. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well by God's grace. What about you?
I'm well.
We bless God.
Okay, so we are back in studio this week, and to once again talk to our drivers on how to drive safely when it rains.
All right. Thank you very much. A very good morning to your listeners, and then to all road users as well. If it's because of them, that's why we are here. So I want to say thank you for always making time to listen to us, and we are always grateful to use your medium to reach out to road users. It's very important that we have this education tips weekly because it helps. One of our mandates as an authority is to promote road safety awareness, and this we do through your medium, and we are very grateful for that. So this morning we recognize that over the past few months, and then I'm sure the months ahead, we are in the raining season, and then the rains also have become hazardous depending on how we use the roads, and it increases the risks of crashes on our roads. So it's very important that we look at some of the risks that the rains bring about, and what measures we can put in place to ensure that during the raining season the crashes are reduced. So basically that's why we are here this morning.
Okay, that's very important. So we would now want to know the risks associated with driving in rains or during the rain or after it has rain?
All right. So driving in the rain provides us a different environment as compared to the non-rain season periods, and it brings about some hazards or risks that increases the likelihood of a crash on our roads.
Okay.
So some of these risks that the raining seasons bring about is the fact that, one, we have the situation whereby there is reduced traction. So traction is basically the grip of the tire, the vehicle tire on the road surface. So it is the traction that will enable it to move or to stop.
Okay.
Once it rains, what happens is that the traction or the grip of the tire on the road surface is reduced, because now another element or factor has been introduced, which is the rains, which is the water. So we have the situation whereby now there is the road surface and then there is water before the vehicle tire. So the grip that the vehicle tire would have gotten previously, if it were not to be raining, it's now reduced. So it has the situation whereby the vehicle could skid off. Or we also have the situation whereby it also increases the stopping distance. So when you apply the brakes, because of the water on the surface, it limits or reduces or it increases the time for which the vehicle is able to stop. So the first risk that we face is the fact that it reduces traction, and then it also increases our stopping time. And also in the raining seasons, what you realize is that usually when the rains are very heavy and then it's very foggy, the visibility is also reduced, because when it's raining, sometimes it becomes difficult to see at a far distance. And also when it's raining, the windows of the vehicle also sometimes become foggy.
Yes.
And then you would have to wipe them off with your wiper. And unfortunately to some of our drivers,
sometimes too.
yes, and the sides too. Unfortunately to some of our drivers too, the wipers are not working. So we get to some of the precautions also. So it reduces visibility. You're unable to see at a far distance as you would love to. And then another risk is also the fact that when it rains, some of our road surfaces become flooded. You have situations whereby, unfortunately, as we said last week, some of our road surfaces are not that smooth. So we have situations whereby there are potholes on our roads. So when it rains, sometimes it becomes so difficult for you to be able to detect whether this portion has pothole or not. So these are some of the risks that we face when it rains. When there is such a situation, what happens is that when you are driving, by the time you realize the unfortunate would have happened, you just run into a pothole and you don't know how deep it is to affect you. It could affect how your control of the steering wheel. You could even cause your tire to burst. And these are some of the risks that we face. And also, basically, it also creates the situation whereby drivers also experience discomfort and distraction. So, like I said, maybe some of our drivers, their wipers are not working. And what it means is that they are tempted to get some duster or something to wipe the windscreen. And then sometimes too, even the fact that you're unable to see at a far distance also means that you'd have to reduce your speed. You have to take extra caution. And it doesn't make the driving as enjoyable as you would want.
Okay.
So these are some of the risks that we face when we are driving in the rains.
Okay, that's when we are driving in the rain. So after it has rained, now the road is cleared. Do we still need to be observant of a few things?
Even not after it has rained, even when it's raining, there are certain precautions that we are also supposed to take. And bear in mind too, another risk that we could also face is the fact that the rains also could bring to the road surface some unwanted materials. We have situations whereby we have some trees at the shoulders of the road. Sometimes, depending on the how heavy the rain is, and the wind and all those things, it could cause some of the branches to fall off, and then they could come into the road surface. And then these are all risks that we are exposed to due to the rains. Now, it's raining. What are we supposed to do? Or during the raining season, what measures are we supposed to put in place to ensure that we get to our destination safe, to ensure that we reduce crashes, and to ensure that we are all safe? One, it's very important that you check your vehicle first before driving it. It's very important. Not even during the rainy seasons. Generally, it's very important that you take your car to the mechanics or to the garage for it to be serviced or maintained. It's very important. However, every time as a driver, before you sit in your motor vehicle or on your motor vehicle, it's very important that you also take some safety precautionary checks on your vehicle. There are some functions or components that we are able to detect whether it's functioning or not, and that we don't necessarily need to go to the mechanic or to the garage for it to be detected. For instance, it's very important that you check your tires, that you ensure that your tires are in good conditions. Bear in mind that a good tire would mean that the tire has a tread depth. So the tread is the space. When you look at the surface, or you look at the tire surface, you realize that there are some lines or some spaces. Okay, so the depth of that space is what we call the tread. Okay. So you ensure that your tread is not worn out. So a worn out tire would mean that the whole surface is very smooth, and it's not supposed to be so. It's supposed to be rough, and then there are spaces in it. So when you realize that your tire surface is so smooth, it means that already, because of the flatness of the tire, it wouldn't have enough grip on the road surface. Now, there is an extra factor or component, which is rain, on the road surface. So imagine what would happen. You would basically have no grip on the road at all. So it's very important that you check your tire and then ensure that your tire have good tread. 2, it's also very important that you ensure that your wipers are functioning. So before you start your vehicle, you sit.
So if only the driver's side is working, is it okay? That means the wiper. Because sometimes the driver's side is working, the other one isn't working. Sometimes to both.
It's you are supposed to ensure that your wipers are working. Some vehicles would have maybe one that it's able to cover majority sides of the windscreen. However, once it's the ones that are two, it's very important that all are working, because whilst driving, you need to be aware of your environment. You need to scan the road as to the dangers of a crash. So we would always entreat our drivers that make sure that your wipers are working. It's very important. And also, it's very important that you ensure that your lights, your headlights, your brake lights, your indicators, they are all functioning. They are all working. It's very, very important. Because sometimes, once visibility is low, we have situations whereby if one side of the vehicle is not working, the lamp, because visibility is low, you could send a wrong signal to the oncoming vehicle. Perhaps someone is trying to overtake, and then you notice that, it's only one lamp or one light that is showing. Perhaps it could be a motor. The person could be thinking it could be a motorcycle, which it would not be, because one side of your lights are not working. So we want to entreat our drivers that at all times, make sure that during this raining season, your lights, your indicators, they are all functioning, they are all working. Please, it's very important. And also, during the raining season, we are supposed to reduce the speed. So reducing the speed would also help us to maintain control of the vehicle, as well as it helps us to ensure that we are able to react quickly to avoid any dangers. Bear in mind, we can have situations whereby there are potholes, there are unwanted materials on the road surface that we wouldn't be able to see easily. So when you are driving slow, even in the worst case scenario, it reduces the impact or the severity of the crash. Also, it's very important that when you are driving in the raining season, you also ensure that you increase the following distance. So you avoid what we call tailgating. So tailgating is basically the situation whereby there is a road, there is a vehicle in front of you, okay, and then you are following the vehicle so closely. No, we don't want such situations. So in the events when it's during the raining season, we would always entreat that you keep extra space between the vehicle ahead of you and you, to ensure that in the unfortunate situation you're able to take precaution, and then you're also able to brake. Because bear in mind, today raining season, it creates the situation whereby the braking distance also, or the stopping distance also increases. So when you don't leave extra space, you create a situation whereby you could easily bump into the other vehicle in front of you.
Sure.
And also, during the raining season, we would always entreat our drivers that they should use their headlights appropriately. So you are supposed to turn on the low beams, the high beam. You are supposed to ensure that you use it in such a way that it doesn't also become detrimental to the other road users who are using the road. Or even not on days when it's raining. Sometimes you have situations whereby most of our drivers, they would keep the headlights on even when they've noticed that another vehicle is approaching. So it's also very important that we take note of this. And also, it's very important that as much as possible we avoid flooded areas. So you have situations whereby some of our vehicles, it's very low. The vehicles are very low. So when you move in areas that are very flooded, you would have difficulty in moving, and sometimes you would also damage your vehicle. So you don't want such a situation. We want you to be safe. We also would entreat all drivers that as much as possible too, we are supposed to ensure that we defog the windows. So they are on our dashboards. Most of us there, some of our drivers do not have some of our buttons are not working. But a good in the new enhanced vehicles too, we have buttons where we are able to defog the window, such that when you are seated inside, it doesn't become foggy and prevents reduced visibility. So while you are using your windscreen, then you also defog your windows. And it's also very important that during this season, you also take extra caution. You ensure that your hands are always on the steering wheel. You yourself stay visible as much as possible. And also, please be patient. Please be patient. So these are some of the precautions that we would entreat our drivers to take during the raining season.
All right, so our drivers, a special one to you from the National Road Safety Authority this morning. You need to adhere to them so you'll be safe on our road. Not just you alone, but the people, the lives that you carry with you to the far and near destinations. All right, so we're ending today's on here, and next week, next week Tuesday 8:30, we'll be back again for another tips from the road safety to our riders, the pedestrians, the drivers, every road user. It's always a pleasure having you at the listening side. So thank you, Elom Bisma Sakite, from coming in to educate us today, and we hope to see you next week.
Sure, thank you. So we should always bear in mind that driving in the rain doesn't have to be dangerous, but it's very important that we take extra caution and we comply with the various rules and regulations on our road. Ghana needs you alive. Your family also needs you alive. We don't want the situation whereby you've left your home to a destination and then you are unable to get there, or even when you get to the destination, you do not get to the destination the way you left home. So we want everyone to be safe.
All
so
right.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you also. Great pleasure having you in our studios this morning. Have a great day. All right, so remember, this one goes to our farmers, all of our farmers. Vegland Enterprise is right here in Ho RTC Park, and that's your destination to all your weedicides, your fungicides, insecticides to help your crops stand tall. Mepe agbled the la omega henya nwede cho Vegland Enterprise Togbo Venami. And ebe negede fiase amea akpo fungicides, weedicides, insecticides so katan afle elabe agbled the la pe hall of via and your Vegland Enterprise. Akpo agbewutike adodue yo awu egbepo me vide si ande ike la agbeleje na wa nugbagbe vi yo le fu dem na wo nuku agbele menu za zen yo your farm tools so sprayers we boots kwa ya fokpa yo mi ado ako ano safe le agbele mo mi ano de diede na agbele de la de si ade alo agbele de nkeke de si ade penu ha hion kwa granular and foliar fertilizers so pete wole wosi kebe enukwo wachi nwela gboso some ene hanukwa IG ajo nene make pipi so wonu za zeona winter gloves so goggles so yape overall wokole no katan yo nya hia na miapa glede la kwa get a Vegland Enterprise ole ho RTC park afi mai kene gero akponu sianu aplezereka mai ifivide agwa trova fivido seat so wole wosi all your farming needs so katan are available. Your Vegland Enterprise the 0598 362 139 0598 362 139. I got one tia kakpolo 0598 324 458. Atia kakpolo le kapo jesimoji alo azo agede fia siame le ho RTC Park. Classes Spaniel Boya make edutu na wana ya vevien ahena miape SHS 1 double track students okata be ope call subjects we play elective okata for who have out the entire vacation period. Housing facilities alo hostel LOC ikene dibe de vienno house enaya agede woji chiaka kpelo to 0244 540 657 0244 540-657 wala academy tope kapo jesia enye emma ntuvio nyon vio kata wo ho hehelo gbo no fiala adodia sokufio ha meho asio ofia no chojora gbo ba sere memreda gbo kale memreda kpajia gododo enye nyindi ga nyi meneti blight of asere fienye ga enepe popo kele joda ba sere fida gbo kpajia enye ndoga ve ba se fienye ga adeyo wodo ago hekpanata July yo katan le toji ndia de viono ogbova chomo keke sigbe kwa nabe wa awode kakple Wallace Academy ye atia kakple kapo jesi keme yo maga yo ake 0244 540-657 Oje nkume Pencils of Promise alo Hokboji EP Basic School afi my akpo Wallace Academy le yo mi asio be nena ava ike wo fevava manye jojoro Nenyebe wento le te fede dim amade le te fede dim o business partner holon o no view for meto o hiena fike wa agla wodo kyodo ri vire ko jidedito de die no nwento me ke SMK Luxury Apartment o egboy agedo alati aka ko le Mirage Eyola Hadena Police Station alokpo vito ope do opa le Mirage fi kene gedwa ope smart TV so le o connect na Netflix play DSTV ako ademo jake na do ki okole wo fo me kola me yokatan business partner so eke egede SMK tope apartment kwa kene me the environment itself the compound alligator, though the gate and where you got that CCTV camera, then a electric fencing, you will war. If you ever the DNA no noa. Elle dodo nwen tono ike vovon mele enwuntio 1 2 3 bedrooms yo ele ike edikwa atia eye are occupy for the number of days you'd want to stay. Ayoto kwenye be na yo eye akpogo mele wana vevin yame hot shower ele nebi ale chijojwe no provider system na emopete a fully fitted kitchen unto be adanwa si anu hele ada wonu ike jiro adu adejidi awonu ike wopene vale hunto ramuganto mekwa abubo atroide opejefe outdoor events okata mi was special place so that ahena nene mwana kwa pele evuofe parking the visitors washroom ole washing machine che ele ikebe ofe stay at SMK apartment ele bobo ewu echa your 02403836 0240383363 hello 0507 337-622. SMK Luxury, your home, your style, your peace. SMK Luxury Apartments, feel at home, living style. Mauli Hoto Wogbegi has joined us speaking for the NDC. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning, Jijo. I am very fine. How are you too?
I'm well.
It's been a while.
Yeah. You have abandoned the studios of Global FM?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I think, was it last week I was here with Walter?
Last week, Friday?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. That should be either Friday or Thursday.
That's Friday.
I was here with Walter. And so
Okay.
my greetings to yourself, your colleagues, and to our cherished listeners too.
All right. Thank you once again for joining us. And I believe you're going to have a fruitful discussion this morning. All right. So our first story is on the demand by the or from the minority that the president should take tough action from that's the president against Samiji $5 gifts. Exactly what are they referring to when it means that tough action? The detail will tell us that. So the minority caucus in parliament is demanding tough action from President John Mahama against the acting chief executive officer of the Ghana Gold Board, Sami Jemfe. The Gold Board CEO was caught on camera doling out several notes of dollars to self-styled evangelist Patricia Quarantine, top line known as Nana Grada. The incident has received widespread condemnation, with Sami Jemfe apologizing for his action. Addressing journalists in Parliament, member of the Finance Committee, Dr. Kabiru Tia Mahama, describes Sami Jefe's conduct as financial recklessness and shameful arrogance. And let me quote him: suddenly and encapsulates the arrogance, hypocrisy, and gross insensitivity that have come to define the NDC government under President John Dramani Mahama. Unquote, he said. Dr. Mahama expressed outrage over the government's handling of financial matters, labeling it a direct affront to citizens who are already facing the crippling effects of inflation and an ever increasing cost of living. And his words again, recklessness is not only a betrayal of public trust, but also a slap in the face of the millions of Ghanaians currently grappling with the devastating effects of the cedi inflation and unbearable cost of living, Dr. Mahama said. He added that the matter was made worse by the involvement of individuals who had previously positioned themselves as champions of economic prudence and anti-corruption. So the demand from the minority is for the president to take a tough action against the acting chief executive officer of Gold Board, Sammy Jeffy, for the dollar gift. All right, so Mr. Ogbe, that's our first story, and that's your National Communications Director and also the Chief Executive for Gold Board.
Of course, so Jojo, you know, let me use the opportunity to greet my boss. Sammy Jemfi is our boss, National Communication Officer. You know, Sammy is a hard currency. This is a guy, young man that has branded himself as a strong currency that both the entire MPP put together are trying so hard to devalue him, and yet they will not be able to bring that currency down. This matter involving Sammy Jemfi, I think it's a matter we have overhyped. It's a matter we have overstretched. It's a matter we have overspoken too much about. And that is happening because you in the media have decided to give so much attention to this matter.
How different is it from
any
other scandal? Scandal that has
this is not even an issue that we can describe as a scandal.
I'm not saying it's a scandal. Neither has anyone labeled it as a crime yet.
Okay.
But how different is it from any other development that we have talked about in this country?
Okay, so we're talking about dollars, isn't it? So compared to Cecilia Dapa, her case is a crime. And so when we talk about it, it is good for us to talk about it.
All right, so this is the call by the minority that you have to
crime.
Address. That this is what the minority is calling for. What do you say to that? So the concern of the minority is what we are speaking to.
I'm coming to the minority. So I'm saying that the media have helped this matter to be overstretched over the time. And I think that it is time for us to begin to put this issue behind, because clearly, there is no wrongdoing that is actually arrogated to Sammy Jemfi for giving
and
out.
Every second minute we have individuals, weighing into the conversation.
All the people who are talking about it, what wrong have they alluded to that Sammy Jemfi has committed? What law has he broken? Everybody is talking about it, but what wrong have they said that he has committed? I have a few questions that I wanted to ask, and I think these questions fall in line with what Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh has asked everybody. He said this money, if Sammy Jemfi had given it as a donation to a school, would it have attracted attention and anybody talking about it? If you had given it to a needy patient, would it have attracted attention and all the uproar that people are talking about it? If you had given it as a school fees to somebody, would it have attracted all this attention? After all, it is still the same money he had given out anyway. And I feel like those are very legitimate questions that people can ask. You see, never have we followed Sammy Jemfi to know whether he has actually been giving some of these helps to people. whether he has given it to party folks, given it to needy people, donated to churches, or given to anybody that actually needed help. But we are only talking about this issue now because of the personality of, what is the name of the lady? Let me just mention the popular name, Nana Agrada. So if we're to not to be Nana Agrada involved in the matter, I'm not sure this issue will attract any attention. Because in the actual sense, there is no wrong that is alluded to. There is no crime committed. And nobody is pointing to anything wrong that Sammy has done. But everybody is trying to, say, why would you give money to Nana Agrada? In the first place, Agrada, for all we care, is a human being, isn't it?
So this is this is how let's focus on the topic, okay? This is how the minority has described the conduct as financial recklessness and shameful arrogance. So there are things in there for you to address.
So Jijo, this minority people, last time when I was here, I told Walter that I think it's better we begin to draw attention from their press conferences, because they don't actually say anything that yield to the growth of this country. They are completely out of substance when it comes to their press conference. They have held well over 60 press conferences in 5 months since we came into power. And all of 60? Them, yes, all of them yielded 60. Nothing. All of them has no substance in it. Count the plenty one that Apenyo Makin has held, to the one that Reverend Laya and Tim Fojo has held, and the one that this one that is this just yesterday one. Put all of them together. You cannot hold any substance in any of the press conferences. Now, what is this Dr. Tahiru Mahama saying? He said that Sammy Gyamfi has committed a crime of financial recklessness. How? Which law says that you cannot hold dollar? Is there any law in this country which says that a person cannot hold dollar? Even me here, I can just from here go to a forest bureau and go and change dollar. Businessmen are changing dollar every day because they needed to go and buy things up and down. Since when Dr. Tahiru knew that it is now a crime to hold or possess dollar in this country? Which law even quotes or prohibit a person from holding dollar? So in the first place, nobody can force Sammy Gyamfi for holding dollar, because there's no law that says so. In fact, when people want to, our brothers and sisters, Muslims, when they want to go to do their pilgrimage, the Hajj, if you have a Ghanaian cedi, you cannot take it there, except that you have to go and change it and hold dollar. So people are always looking for dollar to keep for several reasons. So fine, Dr. Tahiru cannot force Sammy Gyamfi for holding dollar in his hands in the first place. Okay. So what is the issue? Is it that giving the dollar, which you're not even prohibited from holding, giving it out to somebody, is that a crime? Is that a crime? That is also not a crime. If I have dollar on me and then you ask me for food, and I feel, I don't have Ghana cedi to give you, that the dollar is the only thing I have. If I give that to you, does that amount to a crime that I have committed? The answer is no. So Dr. Tahiru, there is no substance in the press conference he held yesterday. And do you know why he is the one that held the press conference? Have you asked that question? Normally, if it's not Apenyo Makin, then probably the Reverend Laya and Tim Fojo, or maybe somebody. But why did they push Dr. Tahiru now? Because they knew the matter has no substance. So they couldn't. The big faces don't even want to show in the press conference. Normally, the MPP want to help press conference. You see them sitting or standing, all of them in solidarity. When you heard the press conference today, who was with Dr. Tahiru? I saw 2 people. Can you imagine? This is something that even the party that does not want to associate himself with. So this man called Dr. Tahiru has only come to ridicule himself, because this is a pedestrian, cheap politics that will not even yield anything. As a matter of fact, if this is an issue that the minority, the so-called minority, wanted to, associate themselves with? Is it Dr. Tahiru that will come and hold a press conference? Don't they have minority leader?
Must
In fact,
always be the
minority leader, the chief
whip.
whip, all of them. In fact, the leadership of the minority caucus, none of them is in the press conference. Dr. Tahiru is a backbencher. He has absolutely
Whether a backbencher, he's still a member
no
of
leadership
parliament
role,
representing
no
the
leadership role when it
constituency.
comes to minority in parliament. It took him to come and present that press conference. It tells you that the people, even the party, the so-called minority, is not even enthused about the matter. This is not an issue that we should be spending time debating and talking about. Why? When has the minority all of a sudden found out that holding the dollar or giving a same to somebody is a crime? When they were vehemently, supporting Cecilia Dapa, who has kept over $1 million and plenty of other foreign currency, the euros and pound sterling in her room. They found nothing wrong with that.
All right. So another concern again, I think we'll be concluding very soon on this is, he expressed outrage over the government's handling of financial matters, labeling it it's a direct affront to citizens who are already facing the crippling effects of inflation and ever increasing cost of living.
See, Dr. Tahiru needs to be faithful to himself in the first place. Sami Jemfi holding a few dollars in his possession. And if you even watch the Agrada video, look, when Agrada asked for help, asked that Sami give him money, which is a normal thing everybody do. All of us, when we see our appointees, politicians, MPs, everybody ask them for help. And they always do give help to people they want to give help to. So giving out money to people when they ask for it, it is not, Sami Jemfi is not the first person that will start it. In fact, I have listened to Osu Brempa, the MPP's own deputy communication officer, came out to say that their people were given $50,000 to girlfriends. How much more?
And those were not caught on camera.
Oh, they were not caught on camera. Okay.
Apart from the recent one that is
So-
trending, the
so-
vice president's, at
so-
the funeral.
Of course. So what moral right that those people have to come and question somebody who gave a few dollars to somebody? Now look at the
Agrada
video.
is saying that
If you look
she's
at the
going to return the money, and that's in the news now that she's going to return the money. Film it again. If the dashing of the money is going to cost just Sami Jemfi, then she's ready to film the return.
of the money. Of course. I don't know why we want to climb the high horses now and rain all this kind of unnecessary pressure and tension on giving arms. Simple giving arms. Is it because of the people that are involved? Is it because it is Sami Jemfi that is giving money to Agrada? Is it because of that we should talk about all these issues? Look, today, the Ghanaian cedi is appreciating on a daily basis against the US dollar. We took it from 17 cedis. When Dr. Tahiru and the so-called minority left power, the Ghana cedi was at 17 cedis. Today, it is at 12 cedi, 50 pesos or so. And Sami Jemfi has played a big role in achieving that milestone for Ghana. That is what we should be talking about. Not that he has a few dollars to give to somebody who asks him for help. Why are we not talking about the things he's doing at Gold Board? Why are we not talking about how the economy is transforming? And it is because of the effort that young man is putting at the gold control and gold exports that is bringing a lot of foreign exchange that is making our Ghana cedi appreciate against the dollar. Why are we not talking about the good work he's doing?
What we heard is the fiscal discipline that is, actually making the Ghana cedi appreciate. So we're from the issue of
the fiscal discipline is part. There are a number of things that are controlling or that are factors that are affecting or making the Ghana cedi perform. In fact, the gold export is a major contributing factor. And you cannot tout that achievement without tapping Sami Gyamfi at the back for holding that fort at the Ghana Gold Board. That's a young man that is doing so well to make sure that government takes control of all gold exports from the country. Nobody has a right now to export or smuggle gold out of this country because Sami Gyamfi is now, trying to control all that export. Now Ghana's export of gold has shot up and bringing in a lot of foreign exchange for this country. That is a major contributing factor to our city, the performance of the city. And we will not talk about those. Then we want a few dollars on himself and he gave it out to somebody. I think the minority is using a sledgehammer to kill a fly. And I don't even know this fly will be able to be killed.
Okay, I think that's
that's
the term now for this development: sledgehammer to kill a fly. All right.
It's unfortunate. I think we need to draw away from this minority. I have said that in all over 60 press conferences they have held, there's no substance in any of them. All of them are, blatantly lies. I don't see where we should be spending time raising these issues on discussions and then wasting our precious time. The issues they have raised is
what you have to address. That is why you're the government's communicator. Thank you. Moving on, price will only fall if gains are sustained. Guta boss defend market responses. But before I bring that one, we're still having a development on our prices, and where we have the trade minister saying that they cannot force the prices on the traders. So that will be the second story we'll be looking at this morning. So the Minister for Trade, Industry and Agribusiness, Elizabeth Ofosu Ajari, says the government cannot push traders to reduce prices despite the recent depreciation of the cedi, but insists there is room for fairness. Speaking in an interview, the minister explained how operates a liberal market system where the government does not fix prices. Here are her words. I'm quoting verbatim. We all know that in Ghana we don't control prices, and so the government cannot really push price reduction on them. But because we work together, we can always discuss and see how the stable cedi will benefit both consumers and traders, she stated. She pointed out that traders have often increased their prices when the dollar goes up, so it is only fair for them to adjust prices now that the cedi has appreciated. If the dollar is stable and has appreciated this much, I think that we need to regroup and see the way forward, she stated, quote and unquote. Madam Ofosu Ajari praised the Ghana Union of Traders Association, that's GUTA, for taking the initiative to engage its members on possible price reductions. The minister acknowledged concerns from some traders who argue that they purchased their goods when the exchange rate was high. However, she believes a balanced approach can be found. She added that discussions between GUTA and the various traders association will help ensure that consumers also benefit from the current economic stability. And then we'll hear from GUTA quickly, speaking to the same. The headline say prices will only fall if gains are sustained. So we have the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association saying the reason prices of goods remain high despite the cedi's recent gain is that the traders don't trust that the gains will last. Dr. Joseph Obeng also in an interview said traders have been courteous because of what they have experienced in the past. GUTA made headlines recently when he publicly appealed to the trading community to reflect the cedi's appreciation in its pricing. All right, so this is where we are. The cedi appreciating against the dollar, and now the call is for the traders to reduce their prices to match up with what is happening currently, the stability of the cedi. So they should reduce their prices. We also understand the transport minister is going to meet the transport unions to also have this, discussions so that they negotiate. Even though he says it might take time, by the end of the day, he believes that they would also accept to reduce transport fares.
It is a common expectation for every ordinary Ghanaian that when we experience good governance, when a government comes into power and that government cares about the welfare and the well-being of the people, and it is actually making efforts to give the citizenry good governance, then that good governance must begin to reflect in the lives of the people. And Ghana had made a good choice when it comes to the election in 2024, that we have made a change from the debilitating, impunitive, reckless government of the Nana Addo Dankwa and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia government. And we have chosen a leader with experience, a leader we can trust, and a party that cares for the people. Now, we are in government. The NDC has come into power. A few months into government, we are beginning to see that good governance is in practice. The finance ministry and all other sectors that play critical roles in the economy are all putting their best foot forward to ensure that our economy begin to transform bit by bit. And so the result is what you're seeing in the performance of the Ghanaian cedi. A couple of factors, put in place are resulting in the changes or the appreciation of the cedi against the US dollar. Now, one will expect that, since that is what we are looking for as a people, and we begin to have that happen, then why won't we get our prices down? If it were to be left with government alone to set up price control, like it happens in military regimes, I'm sure by now, government would have called the shots and say, now sell this at this price, sell this at this price, and sell that at that price. But we are practicing a democracy where central government does not have the power to set up price controls. You can't do that. And so the only thing that the sector ministers can do will be to engage traders. It should be effective, because you see, these traders, I think we need to have hope. We need to have patience. Government is engaging the traders. If Guta refuses over time to reduce their prices, when the stability is, or the performance of the cedi is stable, the appreciation continues to increase, but yet they refuse to bring their prices down, it will not be long before the general public will know that, okay, fine, it is the traders who want to now make money unnecessarily from us. Government has given us a good environment, but the traders are trying to be, exploitative, too much exploitative of the ordinary people. And you know how that can affect even their businesses. When it is showing clearly that the Ghana cedi is continuously, performing against the US dollar, the rate of the dollar is reducing, the stability is good, inflation is going down, and yet the traders refuse to reduce their prices. What will happen? You see, we need to have some patience. What will happen is that the general public will know now it is not about government. Government has done. Of course, we government communicators will be here. We will tell the people that government has already done what government needs to do. The rest is for traders to be reasonable. And if they fail to be reasonable, the people will react to the businesses.
All right, so they're talking about stability of the gains. If it's traders don't want to take the risk, they don't want to be at the losing end.
Yeah. So in the meantime, that argument is legitimate. That it is early days to predict or to say that the appreciation of the cedi is going to be sustained. But that is where I know that with engagement with the sector players, the ministries, the Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Finance must engage them, explain to them the things they are doing that they know will continue to make the cedi appreciate. If they explain these factors to the Guta and traders, and they know that, okay, fine, with what government has put in place, if they continue to, govern in this manner, then the cedi appreciation will continue to be sustainable. I'm sure they will understand, and then they can trust now that okay, fine. If we reduce our prices, we will not be shortchanged. So I think this is a discussion that should be ongoing. That's why I say that I think we need to have a bit of patience. In the meantime, Grutter's argument is legitimate because they are expressing fear and uncertainty in the performance of the city. So with further engagement, they will come to trust that this is not a cosmetic, government policy or analysis that is trying to massage the figures or whatever, but government has actually put in place. And I want to state it. That is why we bring in Samije Fee again. The gold board, whatever they are doing over there, is a serious issue. It's a serious factor that is pushing, our Ghana cedi forward.
Is that what the Bank of Ghana said? It's rather talking about the gold reserves.
The gold reserve, where are they getting it from? The gold reserve is appreciated simply because of the efforts of from the gold board. That's where we are getting the gold from. You see, before it was allowed to smuggle gold. I think politicians were even supporting gold smugglers to smuggle gold out of the country. But when this government took over power, with a directive to establish gold board led by Samije Fee himself in the shortest possible time, you heard that a communique was put out that all, illegal or licensed traders in the gold value chain business must cease. You can only go through gold board. You heard that communique? And so nobody is allowed to take gold out or export gold out or smuggle gold out of this country without, if you do, and then you are caught, you will face the rigors of the law. And so that kind of control now makes it that if you have gold and you want to sell it, the only place you take it is to the gold board. You get it? Now, gold board is now in control of exporting gold out of this country. So what has happened now is that our gold export has increased, and the foreign exchange that it brings back to this country is now huge. That is why our gold reserve is increasing in the first place, and then the foreign exchange is also making our Ghana cedi appreciate. It's a basic thing that is happening over there that people need to understand. You see, now when the sector minister and all other agencies explain this to traders that this is what is happening, and because we have our foot on the factors, we know that the appreciation of the cedi is going to be sustained, and so you can relax. Your businesses are not going to be, this is not a cosmetic arrangement.
This development now, aka cedi, against the dollar, the government, we have in that system, aka government has a price or control because koya vakpo, no a GM, and then because of that petrol data, then percentage kg more called that so do we now find ourselves in that era where it will be okay for government to now be controlling the prices in our market?
No, I don't think government can have that upper hand to control things in the market.
Okay, so if government don't have that upper or cannot have the upper hand, how about Guta? Because sometimes some of these things I feel it's just going to end in Accra. So when we come down to our local markets, who is going to ensure that you all reduce the prices of
so that's why you see, okay, fine, I understand your question now. You see, government from the central government through the ministers will engage Guta. And Guta is an embodiment of all other traders anywhere in this country. So if Guta today declared that, okay, fine, we are reducing price of these commodities by this margin, even whole, they'll comply. So when you go to a home market or go to a supermarket or a store and they say a diaper, for instance, is supposed to be sold at this price, now somebody is selling that, beyond that price, all you have to do is to abandon that store, go to another store and buy it. And it will not be long before that trader knows that his things or her things are not being sold. and then he has to also bring the price down. So
it's going to bring some form of competition.
Of course, it's a perfect competitive market. When your market players, the leaders in the market says, okay, we are all reducing the things. If you decide to keep it, your price is high, nobody will tell you that people will not come and buy your things. Okay, if I know now that tin tomatoes is now going to be cost, or it's now going to, the price will now come down from say 10 cedis. I think
the pace so the now. Rule is 10 cedis. And then the other one is depending the quarters, half, the big sizes.
See. So if, for example, 10 cedis is now supposed to be sold, Guta declared that let it be sold at 5. And then you go to a store.
5,
I'm just giving.
And that's just too much.
I'm just giving an example. And then you go to a store and somebody wanted to decide to still keep it at 10. You move to the next store. And if you get the next store and the price is down, you buy it there. The next minute, the person who decided to sell it at 10 cedi knows that his things will not be sold. So that's how the system will begin to respond to the changes. So me, I believe that it's just like how transport people do. When petrol prices go up, they converge, they talk, they meet with the ministry, they adjust the price. Now that petrol prices are also coming down.
But you're not hearing from them.
Yeah, it's because the ministry has not engaged them yet. But I think there's that communication.
But when there is an increment, they call for the engagement with the minister.
So this is how it works. If he bites you, you call for help. You understand? This one is not biting them. The prices are coming down. It is rather they are enjoying themselves. So they'll be quiet to enjoy. But if the minister engage them, approach them for discussion, that prices are down, you know that we have to reduce. The
Dealers Association, I think Abosoka, they have also accepted that if the increment, the appreciation continues, to meet with their people and they reduce their prices.
A lot of things are going to be are affected by the cedi appreciation.
So it will affect our Gary here.
Yes, definitely.
Our
Everything, even our common kenke will go down. That's the governance that John Dramani Mahama has promised the people of Ghana, and we are delivering it. Oh no, we may not get to 1 cedi, but kenke is now around 7 cedis, 5 cedi. After 5 cedi, you have to eat 3 before you know that you're eating. Oh yes, Ajijo, have you eaten 1 kenke these days? You have to eat 3. You understand? So we are hoping that when prices begin to go down, kenke price, must come to 3 cedis probably, and then the size must also probably increase. Because people will now get the maize at a cheaper price. The farmers will also get the farming inputs, the weedicides, and then the whatever.
Because we understand you are coming in with that policy.
Appreciating, inflation is coming down. Fuel has come down. So let us all adjust. And when we adjust, it will trickle down to everybody. Everybody.
So conversation, it's growing and it's gaining some momentum among the citizenry, Befifie, and then the sector players or industry players. So the inflation, like no OEG dollar per duvuvu le efe deka vedova yime. Afifie bikpobe hamesiame le babia benuka le jojoma pe CDL appreciate benuka le jojoma pe CDL appreciating understand la chefia be koko jurala nebe 5 alo 3 cities ko egale the family be yakpo 2 cities be the delege be that is what we are all calling for. E the transport minister be ya wo gododo kole mi afa vu kola pe habobo be yo cheno ale nkude mi afa vu jonti a ayo bete nye enyaye ye kele mi adome fifia be the delege a newa ava ga kev asichala ocha ole bumbe ne over de le no fifia ko ya sidie dollar ga pojiku uga va jele sidie on sidie uga chi megbede ele ye wa wota enye ejedodo ahele fifia kwa nenye be no kata osogba le ike onya adure kwa mia adede mia gboga kele ike wole o ha gbo we abe dume vie ne afi ike mi do de leji ahia be mia dele mia fe no oji a wenye plela wenye jirala mi opete ale imi ekpo ya ire mi afe enya jojo mamalento ike mi akọ awunu egba eya ekude mi afe wona ike enye do come pe wana nyang badodo ike virtual NDC dunya gbolo hagbo. That is the no fees stress policy maiko ko dadaina tertiary students o fe gban to me yila me ko se ba me do yiko o hefe fifi budget va do plona na minya ba me yo kata yi o hefe a dodo to hele wo nti ye no chocho va be relati ike gbona me ne mo na to he a age egome yin gbe pande de ike cho the students loan trust fund. They have announced that it will begin reimbursing academic user fees in June 2025 for first-year students enrolled in accredited diploma or degree programs at public tertiary institutions for the 2024-2025 academic year. According to a release signed by the SLTF's Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Sajida Shiraj, the reimbursement set to begin next month are in line with policy directives from the Ministry of Education. They also reflect the John Dramani Mahama government's commitment to investing in Ghana's human capital and securing a brighter future for the nation's youth. Eligible first-year students have been directed to submit the applications through the no fees stress application portal. That will be the / of no fees stress.sltf.com.gh. The release further indicated that applications will be validated against admission data from the respective public tertiary institutions. Dr. Shiraj added, "We urge all first-year students to apply promptly to secure their reimbursement." The SLTF also encouraged eligible students to direct any concerns, grievances, or inquiries to their official website. So now the policy implementation, or the period for policy implementation, is next month. So we are hoping that from the 1st of next month, if it doesn't fall on the weekend, then the reimbursements of the no fees, kickstart. Because
Then His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Because
you should clap your hand for the sector minister,
education.
of education, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, and clap your hand for Dr. Kaseo Atofosin.
What have they done?
Because, I feel so proud right now being a member of this great party. I have always been saying that this is a party that cares for the people. It is the only party that builds Ghana, apart from Nkrumah. The only party that builds Ghana again is the NDC. And I feel so proud to be a member right now. I feel so proud to have even the opportunity to speak to this issue. You see, I remember in 2017 when the MPP was touting free SHS, free SHS, free SHS. Nobody wants to hear anything in this country again but free SHS.
It was implemented.
Even free SHS. They implemented it in September 2017.
Even with that, you still said it was hurriedly implemented.
Hurriedly implemented. Even when they waited till September, it was still implemented hurriedly. Anyhow, with all kinds of challenges till today. See, it took John Mahama to settle all the noise around free SHS. Have you heard anybody talk about it these days? No.
What has he changed?
The children, even the children are eating good food now. It took John Mahama to settle all the thorny issues around free SHS. Yes. That's what leadership that cares does. Now we are talking about the no fee stress. You know what, we're campaigning, and then we tell people vote for the NDC because this policy will come. Your children will go to school for free. Tertiary, they'll go to school for free. Many were doubting. But against that doubt, they tried to at least cast the vote. The leadership that cares for the people. The people, that this policy, direction from the student loan trust fund, that they are going to refund their monies to them. These are people who have applied. As a matter of fact, they bought the application from last year when when government has not even won power, the NDC have not even won power. They bought their forms, applied for last year. They gave them the admission. In fact, I think they started school September last year or so. They are in first year now. Very soon, I think this June they'll be vacating. That's the end of the first year for them. But government is refunding their fees to them. And government is going to enroll them onto the student loan trust fund. That's straight with their admission, how do you call it? Their
admission fees?
Admission numbers.
Okay.
Just with the admission numbers, the student loan trust fund is going to enroll them onto the student loan trust fund and pay their next school fees. They have absolutely nothing to worry about. All you need to do now is to prepare for your upkeep and go to school. School fees is not going to be a problem for these people. John Mahama could have waited though. And so, okay, fine. It's a promise I've given. My government said in 2025. So let me wait. When the people who are going to start application in 2025, who the schools will go to, will be admitting in September, let me wait and start with them. But he did not. He even went back. So if you count well, John Mahama has 4-year mandate. But with a no fee stress, he's actually going to settle 5 years, because he's starting from a backlog of a year back and rolling on to the first year to the 4th year. He's going to do 5 instead of 4. That's what leadership that cares for the people does. And I am so happy. I am so proud that we have not campaigned and reneged. There is no promise that we have made in a campaign that is not happening. All of them we have said, they are being delivered one after the other. I tell you, the country is in safe hands. The people who destroyed it, in fact, nobody should pray for these people to ever come back to power again.
Okay, but this clause, starting from reimbursing academic user fees in June 2025 for first-year students enrolled in accredited diploma and degree programs. So what if your program is not accredited? That was one of the concerns.
Oh, but we have to be fair. We have to be fair to the system. We have to be fair to the system.
If a student apply and then their courses
at least you two when you want to attend school in accredited school and go and do accredited course and have a certificate you can be proud of. You understand? That's what some of us, I am always proud about Kenya UST. And I always be proud about it. So you expect the students to go and read around their courses, whether it's accredited or not? Do they even know? Are they aware? Is that students' responsibility or is the institution? There are so many, these days, there are so many schools springing up with courses everywhere. You pass on somebody doing some 6-month course. Government cannot pay school fees for everybody.
Of course, this one is not for the private universities. That's just for government institutions. Teacher trainings, nursing training.
Of course, now you also why you think that if you go to a government institution, a government university and polytechnic, or the how do you call it now, the technical university, or you go to a nurses training college or a teacher training college, the issue of accreditation does even arise in those schools?
Yes, it does arise, and we hear from the accreditation board coming out sometimes
that some of the courses are not accredited. Well, of course,
they used to renew. So if you've not renewed,
so this is where we will appeal to GTEC, GTEC to ensure that so long as these institutions are all government institutions, whatever it takes to regularize those discrepancies about course accreditation, it shouldn't be the fault of the student that a student will not be able to benefit this free no fee stress policy because the school has not accredited the course. Because it doesn't take me, the student, to go and accredit the course or ensure that the school get accreditation for a course that I want to apply for. if you knew that the course was not accredited, why did you even accept my application and admitted me into the school? So I think that this one government to look at it. I'm not sure anybody is going to be left behind because of accreditation. But I am looking at the private, those who want to go and do
because
private short courses.
Just clear it that they are not part.
Okay, fine. So those ones,
postgraduates are not even part of this. So
of course.
Let's just get it clear, and then the cry will not be like, we've been promised and.
Of course, I know. You see, so put it well. I need you to put it well. Applaud government for doing so. Applaud government for fulfilling its mandate, its promise to the people. It won't take anything wrong from you. It will not take your media certificate from you.
Government to sustain the program by applauding. It's you have to take care of me, and so.
Oh no, Jijo, come
That's
on,
what
listen.
it means.
Jijo,
all right, we have a few
listen,
minutes more to
applaud government. Be happy that government has given its promise, has fulfilled its promise to the good people of this country. I'm sure you have a sister that will be enjoying this. I have nieces. You understand? I am waiting for my son to grow and enjoy this policy, and I know it's going to be sustained.
If we don't have any law backing, I'm sure. So a bill needs to be passed.
Oh, the destroyers will not come now. We will make sure we put everything impossible, to ensure that there's sustainability in every good thing that government is doing now.
And we're not going to be facing any hitches, just as
so long as the NDC is good. So long as the NDC remains, so long as the NDC remains in power,
payment delays, and all of those ones.
So long as the NDC remains in power, we are social democrats. We are committed to ensuring good
and
governance.
Then the government will now go back to be negotiating with the schools, and so give us some time. We'll pay, those.
Because of government lacking funds, government has already dedicated a funding source for the no fee stress. So it's
one thing, dedicating a fund, allocating a fund, and it's also releasing of the funds on time.
You can trust Dr. Ato Forson. That's a man you can trust. You can put your hand on the chest for Dr. Ato Forson.
Okay,
so long as he's committed to it.
We are ending. If you Nejibea Amanda no Plemi, let me page Rodwagia for Nyayoma Miejuro. The stories we have looked at will soon be ending our show here with about a few minutes to take a leave of you. It's feeling that the Maviola's attention now that particular development in the dollar gift, and then Miele Nkude asinufa se koko CDF send you a the dollar jizon you anyebe the delegia nejejem alone wajefafa let me no general park bajimega Nkude no academic stress policy no fee stress policy ke ndisi dunya gbo had to me dopo he can not dena wonama de go be next month ye waje ga gbugbo ame yo hefe ho wa gbugbo ga ko no na ma no ameto ya omiele Nkuda ke juro be adenu mekwa 0247900764 me asenko. Hello, good morning.
Sister Jijo.
Yes, for my clean.
Na wele doji.
Me oche.
Nyama ba hu nya to alom gam to moto no me nke jojo me mi aji o. Mi o mi tede border town. Sister Jijo.
Papa.
Mata kale kino official ba atencha kuna na official 150 Ghana cedis. They are shama ba kuma 90 Ghana cedis. Nka ta so no na ma. Tade mi o tu voter it to be pun be na mi anu. Ye to na di sisa kwa. Mi wa mi bode me fi de no de moji. Nsa di don to ba fla pe 3 cedis de. No kuma mi ku je ba ku ke kwa plavo.
Oh.
Apa, mi ma kana mi anu temu de to. Mi kana vire fo du jimle amuganto mu. To wo na do ha ko vire da kede. No le ku pe vire akopon. Aleke runa de la mi anya je sisa ko jo mo na de ji kwa. Wọ́n ló lè jí kúmá ké tó ọmọ sísè omi ìwọ́sẹ̀ ìwọ́ ọlẹ́kùnrin ní ọ̀wẹ̀ tani ó lè tẹ́tẹ́ pọ̀ jùjọ fótó méjìjọ pọ́pọ́ lẹ̀ àpẹ́.
Yo àpẹ́ for McLean fótó mẹ́ya jìjọ lẹ̀ àyà sí ẹ̀ máa pẹ̀lú nù ẹ̀ kọ́ 100 cedis at least àtàn àfọ̀dẹ́chì àgà wàtàdì àgà dànùbùbùdó lẹ̀ mẹ́ya at least ẹ̀nẹ́nyẹ́ bẹ́ dẹ̀dẹ̀ lẹ̀ jí à wà take effect ẹ̀nẹ́nyẹ́ bẹ́ wà sẹ̀ ẹ̀gbẹ́ yìí ó wà tso tán ọ̀fíẹ́. Ava bene wa adela jo no woji la siemea abe amese amekule eba kpogbojo vide le eganya pakpaji ka juro chebe ya akode akokpere nu na mi abinya mekwepe na notapo mu mi akogbeto akosera fi efo notapo na mi.
Well, so I say that the country is in safe hands. The NDC government has promised to deliver a good governance practice to the people of this country, and we are experiencing nothing but good governance. I want to urge all our listeners and the country at large to have patience, so long as the economic policies that are rolled out, so long as government is sustaining them, we know that things will come down. Prices of foods, prices of goods and services will also begin to go down. That is what good governance practice does to its citizens.
Okay.
And I want to urge GUTA not to take too long a time to reason with government in terms of reduction of prices. I also want to urge the transport unions to, the same way ministry listens to them when they want to increase their prices. This time round, it is the other way. They must also listen to the minister so that they can bring their prices down and bring relief for we people who bought their vehicles.
All right. Thank you. And akpe na mi opete debi apetorodo achomiaga adogole wonaji. Nzi ya meje gome ye mi ekplomi gede keta nutome mi trogbo vava yige. Hega etrogbo vava no mi agbole ho nutome le fi. Ga plomi yige National Road Safety Torture no fi. He wanu fa fia na mi ape evukulao. Agbanye blada hoganya si egbe ha. Mi ape nyasalade. Mi ape wana egba to ha. Aga de be mi a chole eji echo. Kuda gado ho mi ava no mi agbone maulo ayi de mi ape wona oji na mi ta me yo bete he kpasire wona me o de tepe a no ho akpa me yin ko mi esefia ape to ma wole ho to wogbe yi ye no ende sin tunya gbolo ha tepe e fonu de nya jojo yo mi etia egba enu bubu yi o ga forete mi a ahel ave na mi nkonye Joyce Jijo Afola nkeke me nenyo na mi.